Wasabi Connect. How we doing? Good morning. What's good? Folks, what is up? Oh, no, I don't have the thing. Oh, I gotta go to the thing. I forgot about the thing. The thing, you guys. The thing. You know what I'm talking about. The thing. I need the thing. Otherwise, how will we do the thing if I don't have the thing, you know? If I don't have the thing, we can't do the thing. It's just the truth. The truth of the matter is that I can't do the thing if I don't have the thing. It's first grade, SpongeBob. Go ahead and drop it. We are live. Come tell me I'm wrong about the best games from the year 2000. Bada bing, bada boom. Ciao. Folks, we got a big day planned. Big day, big morning. Here in 2 minutes, we're gonna start our top 10 games of the year 2000 list. And then pretty much immediately following that, we're gonna work on some character design for my NaNoWriMo project. And then we're going to do that for like 30 minutes-ish, probably until 10. And then I think at 10, we're going to, so in an hour, at 10, we're going to start up Beacon Pines again, baby. And we'll see, maybe we'll finish it. I feel like we're so close to the end. Maybe I'm wrong though. 6 hours and 5, is that it? That can't be it. We've only played 6 hours and 5 minutes. Is that possibly true? Yeah. 6 hours and 5 minutes. Maybe we won't beat it today. Let's see how long to beat. Yeah, it says 5 hours, so we've got to beat it today. We simply must beat it today. Today is the day. What's up, Cameron plus Deanna? How we doing? Welcome in. What's good? How was Celeste? How are we feeling about Celeste? Still enjoying it? It's a fun one, that's for sure. Good morning. Happy that you're here. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. I just realized I never put in my Trek to Yomi time on my how long to beat, so I'm gonna go do that real quick. Or maybe I did. I don't think I did. Beat it! Oh, very nice! Congratulations. This thing's dead. Man, it's always a bummer whenever it's dead, huh? Congratulations! Congratulations. Good job, man. Such a good feeling. Such a good feeling to roll credits on a game. So what do you think now? Are you thinking about completioning? Are you thinking about now going back to the stuff I missed? Yep, there we go. Well, have fun with it. That sounds so fun. It's very seldom that I have a game that I want to do that with, but I love it. Ooh, I need to add Trek to Yomi to my list. Where should Trek to Yomi go on this list? Is it better than Artful Escape? Probably. It's definitely not as good as Islets. I'm gonna put it below Islets. Boom. What's up, Perry? How we doing? I need to go add it. What? So what? I definitely beat Trek to Yomi. I need to add. Oopsie. I need to go add that to my how long to beat. Nothing seems too hard, so I'm gonna go for it. I'm hoping there isn't a difficulty spike. Well, enjoy it. I hope that it goes well. I would not, could not on a boat. Okay, let's see. How long did it take me to beat Trek to Yomi? It was pretty quick. I beat it in like a record time. Yeah, 3:40. first playthrough, and I beat it in 3 hours and 40 minutes. Am I a speedrunner? I might just be a speedrunner, you guys. Submit. I'm here and awake, frustrated at my ring con for not working. That is a bummer. Nothing oh yeah, I read that. Dope. That is a bummer. I hate that happened. It's always very frustrating whenever you have something and you finally get the energy to do that thing and then it doesn't work. I feel that. Music feels louder today. Is it too loud? Maybe I'll knock it down another smidge. Just feels a little loud. All right, we're past time. We're past time and we got a busy day. So let's go ahead and work on our 2000s list. I'm gonna do this the same as last time. I'm gonna do this the same way I did this last time. So for those of you that don't know, I put together a top 10 list every single week. And I do it here live on our Twitch stream. So if you're watching the VOD over on YouTube, first off, hi YouTube. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. And I do these live and I come up with all the answers. The way that I do it is I go to Backlogged. If you want to follow me on Backlogged, I'll link it down below. But I put together a list of all the games from the year 2000 on the first like 10 pages of Backlogged that I personally love. And then I go through those and I figure out which of those would be in my top 10 list. So that's what we're gonna go through and do here. However, I'm not gonna show that part on the screen because Backlogged includes every game made. And sometimes those games probably shouldn't be airing live on Twitch. So we're not gonna do that. However, we are going to be adding games from that year just based off the list. I'm gonna go ahead and go through really quickly and find what are the top 10 games of the year 2000. While I'm doing this, folks, please do let me know if you have a game that just immediately pops to mind from the year 2000. I feel like we're finally getting to the point where I don't remember what games came out this particular year. It took a while to get there, but we're finally there. We're finally to years that I don't know what games I played this year. However, this is an exciting time because this means that I will now begin, next week, we'll do a top 10 games of the decade. So we'll do the entire decade of 2000 to 2009, which is super exciting. It's always one of the easier ones, only because of the fact that it just kind of is easier because of the fact that it's because of the fact that we've already done the work of figuring out which games were the best games that year. Okay, let us see. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I think I liked 3 more, but we'll add it anyway. Pokemon Puzzle League. Definitely not the Blues Brothers 2000. Jet Grind Radio. I mean, yeah, but is that really that important to me is the thing. All these games are incredibly subjective. Pokemon Yellow was 2000. Was it for real? Ooh. Let's see. So I go by whatever it says on Backlog. So sometimes Zando likes to fight me on that because of the fact that the years are a little bit off depending on if you're in North America or Japan or Europe or wherever. I always go by whatever Backlog says. So whatever metric they use is the metric I use. Ooh, Final Fantasy IX. Majora's Mask. Okay, there are some great games in the year 2000. Paper Mario. Yeah. We're not even in the backlogged list yet, and I already have 9. So, oh boy. Here we go. Let's go. Okay. Now we're going through the actual backlogged games. Original Deus Ex I never played. What is Tsukahime? That looks like my kind of game. What? Black Panther for creepy men. What is happening? Oh no. It's very much a weeb game. But for it to be number 4, dude? Do I need to play this game? It's a visual novel that's number 4 in the year 2000. I feel like I might need to play this game. That I've just never heard about. Congratulations to Trombone Dalek for being first. Let's see, Crystal Shards was okay. Persona 2 I've never played. Crystal's one of the best games ever made of all time. Spider-Man, I've never seen this Spider-Man. Yeah, I've never played that Spider-Man. Trombone, hope you're having a good morning. I echo that sentiment. Another Summer Holidays. How many visual novels came out this year that I've not played, homie? Perfect Dark was fine. I liked GoldenEye better. Mario Tennis was pretty great. Dark Cloud, pretty great. Let's add them. Let's add them. My favorite part about doing this is that I can go through and say what games I actually played and start to expand on my my list of games I've played. Wario Land was pretty great. I'm not going to put that one on there though, but it was pretty fantastic. I definitely don't like it enough to put it up that high on the list. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes. Good morning, Trombone Dalek, Kumar Will, Cameron Christiana, whoever else is here but quiet that I missed. Thank you for that thought of still struggling this morning. Still a lot going on at work. Grandfather came home. That's wonderful. And then I just found he's having breathing problems. That's not as wonderful. Oh my goodness. What an up and down. I'm so sorry. I hope that we're on the up and up. I hope this is just a quick minor setback and we're going to be right back to a good place very soon. Let's see. Sonic Shuffle was okay, but not very good. Code Veronica was great, but I'm not going to put it on there. Escape from Monkey Island remains to be on my perpetual backlogged. Let's see. Tales of Eternia? Never even heard of that Tales game. I wonder if that's like the first Tales game. Batman Beyond Return of the Joker game. I never have played that one. Skies of Arcadia came out on the Dreamcast. I didn't play it until the GameCube later, but it is a good one. I've never played it. Time Splitters came out this year. Ooh, Time Splitters was pretty great. Pretty great. Muppets Race Mania. Dragon Warrior 7. Mom said that he is really weak right now and it's going to be a long road to recovery. He can't even walk by himself without a walker at the moment, and it's hard being in another state. I believe it. I'm so sorry. That is rough. That is rough. Rayman 2. If I'm going to be honest about the Rayman games, they just all kind of existed. They just existed. So many visual novels. Holy moly. Ooh, Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2. That was such a good game. Let's see. Never played any of the Nancy Drew games. So far, we haven't had any dirty games pop up, so I guess I could have actually showed you guys this, but... That game was bonkers? Yes. Pokemon Gold and Silver were 2000 in North America. Not sure how backlog. I'm sure it does 1999 because Crystal's on here. But in all honesty, if it was Gold, Silver, and Crystal that I had to choose between, I would choose Crystal, so... Daikatana came out this year? Oh my gosh. JonTron, man. I didn't get to teach a boy. Came to a friend last night, and that was a lot of fun. You did get to teach a board game to a friend last night, and that was very fun. That's what I'm going to say voice to text said there. And that's wonderful. Teaching a game is a wonderful experience. Echo the Dolphin came out this year? Ah, that's funny. Definitely not the best game. I figured it out. I determined what you said. Ooh, Harvest Moon 3 Game Boy Color came out. That was a good one. SimCity 2000 Special Edition. That's probably an obvious. Let's see. We're on list number 8. You're impressed at my transliteration skills. I'm very gifted. Mario Artist came out this year. That's not going up there, but that is a game that happened. I think it was this. I think Pocket Digimon World Wind Battle Disc was what I played with my friend. That looks so familiar. So many visual novels, dude. I have got to play some visual novels. I've got to just start looking up these like classic... Ace Ventura? There was an Ace Ventura game? That's wild. All right, last page. Last page, and then I'll show you guys what I've been working on here. And you guys can tell me I'm wrong. Yep, nothing on the last page. Certainly not going to be Arthur's Adventures. All right, let's look at this list. Let us see. Let's go to backlogged. Ba-bow, ba-bow, ba-bow. That is wrong. Ba-bow, ba-bow. Let's go for this one. Ba-bow. Nice. Okay, these are the top. Let's see, we got 15 games to choose from here, and we can only choose 10. no, Ghost Call. That's a weird message. It's not necessarily problematic, but hopefully you're here for good intentions, good purposes. Are we cool? How'd you find us? I won't delete that message, but if they get much weirder and don't pertain at all to what we're talking about, then I might. Okay, Perry deleted it. Perry made the call. All right, that's fine. Perry is one of our guardians, but you're welcome here. Just don't type weird messages. Visual novels take so long. Yes, they definitely do, Trombone. They definitely do. Okay, let's see. Where's Crystal? Why is Pokemon Crystal not on here? I definitely added it. Okay. Obviously, Crystal's gonna be number one. Boo, 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 boo. Crystal's number one, then probably gonna have to be... Felt a bit off topic. You're welcome. Just keep it family friendly. Yeah. Agreed. Sims is fantastic. Banjo-Tooie, Paper Mario, Pokemon Stadium 2, Final Fantasy, Ocarina. Let's see. SimCity's pretty great. Sarge's Heroes might be better than Pro Skater 2 for me. It was definitely an important game for me. It was wild. Honestly, it's between Harvest Moon and Dark Cloud at this point. That's really tough. I only briefly played Crystal. I was super into Gold and Silver, but ended up never picking up my own copy. Crystal was so good. I always like the like DLC version that comes out late. I think we're gonna go Harvest Moon. Okay, so here we got our honorable mentions. Let's go ahead and add them. Jet Grind Radio. I don't even know if I've actually played that one. I probably just watched someone play that one. I definitely didn't play it as a kid. Dark Cloud, Time Splitters. And SimCity 2000. Okay. Now let's try and rank these top 10, because I know these are my top 10, but I don't think they're in the right order yet. Definitely Crystal. Crystal is definitely better than all of these. Is The Sims better than Banjo-Tooie? I think so. Banjo-Tooie better than Paper Mario? Probably not. Banjo-Tooie better than Pokemon Stadium 2? Probably not. Is Banjo-Tooie better than Pokemon Puzzle League? Absolutely. Is Pokemon Puzzle League better than Final Fantasy 9? No, definitely not. Is Banjo-Tooie better than Final Fantasy 9? Probably not. Is Pokemon Stadium 2? Probably not. Yeah. Okay. Majora's Mask, definitely better than Banjo-Tooie. Probably better than Pokemon Stadium 2. Sarge's Heroes better than Puzzle League? Probably. I don't know. Honestly, that could be debated. Harvest Moon better than Sarge's Heroes? Definitely. Yes. Yes! Crystal's better than Sims. That's better than Paper Mario. That's better than Final Fantasy 9. That's better than Zelda. That's better than Stadium. That's better than Tooie. That's better than Puzzle League. That's better than Harvest Moon. That's better than Sarge's Heroes. Gonna change this. Yes. Yes! That's it. That's the list. That's perfect. That's exactly what I believe. I firmly, vehemently believe this is the case. I think that Pokemon Crystal is the best game that came out in the year 2000 by far. The game that I would play again and still do play. I love that game. We played a ton of Pokemon Puzzle League in my house for years. My mom and grandma would play it together. So we played it on stream before, the original N64 copy. And I always said we were going to eventually play the version on Nintendo Switch Online. So we'll eventually get back into it and I'll try again. I could not beat it, dude. It was so tough. It was so impossibly difficult. But we did get a lot of good laughs out of it, and one of my favorite sounds of all time, which is Team Rocket rules. And it's so good. There you go. Public and ranked. Look at that. Top 10 games. Pokemon Crystal, The Sims, and Paper Mario are the 3 best games that have come out in the year 2000. Don't think you've ever heard of Pokemon Crystal? So Pokemon Crystal is kind of to Gold and Silver as Emerald is to Ruby and Sapphire. It's where Pokemon takes and added in a later back game after the fact that it came out. Except I think the real hallmark of Crystal was that it was the first one in color, I think? That sounds familiar. If that's not correct, then I'm just a dummy. But I'm like 99% sure that that's true. All right, if any of these, I've played 10 out of 10. Yep. Let's see if that's true. Let's see what they say. See, 3.9 rating. Special edition, it added the option to play as a female character, expanded the storyline, and made slight aesthetic changes to the still intact core experience of becoming a Pokemon master. You know that Silver was in black and white. It definitely was. Yep. So that's what they did. And it was so good. It was so good. It's a 5 out of 5 game for me. I'll go ahead and 5 out of 5. I don't own this game anymore, but I would love to find it. There we go. Look at that. Look at all the games I added just from this 1 year. We're up to over 1,000 games played. I've definitely played more than that, but that's just... These are 1,000 games that I just had on the top of my list that I was able to add comfortably. But yeah. Wow. What a great list. Top 10 games of 2000. So now we're able to take all this information and we're able to put it into a top 10 games of the decade next week. So if you want to see the top 10 games of the decade according to Nerd Pastor Nate, join next Thursday, what will it be? November 10th at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time to witness a masterpiece being created. Yes. Wonderful. Let's see if anybody liked the rest of these games. I loved The Sims. I don't know if anybody else loved The Sims, but I loved The Sims. Let's see what score it has. 3.5? That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. For what it's worth, I think that's a pretty good score for The Sims. That's not too bad. Paper Mario I know is loved. These are all I know they're loved. Let's see what Pokemon Stadium 2 actually got. 3.5. Good. I would love to go back and play the Stadium games. When they do hit Nintendo Switch Online, I fully intend on it. Did people love Tui? I bet they did. Yeah, 3.7. Going back and playing the Banjo games now is rough. Yeah, I love these Harvest Moon games. They were so good. Do people like Sarge's Heroes? I bet not. 2.7. Ah, yeah. That's so funny. Man, I loved this game, though. I played hours and hours of this game on the N64. That's so funny. Honestly, 2.7 for an Army Man game is pretty good, I think. Objectively bad game, but so much fun. It was such a good time. And it was so weird. It was so weird. The fact that I think you could I think you played an entire level in a fridge. Either that was this one or that was the first one. But I remember distinctly playing in the fridge, and that was my favorite like overworld. Oh my gosh, what a ridiculous game. All right. Well, that is our top 10 games of 2000. If you're watching this on YouTube, hi YouTube, we're happy that you're here. Thank you for watching through these VODs and joining us on these top 10 lists that we make each week. Be sure to let me know in the comments how I'm wrong and what games you would have rather seen on this list, or if I'm just putting them out of order and what games you think are better than the others. I look forward to seeing your answers down in the comments below. If you liked this video and you watched to the end, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for me so that you can find out when more of these videos drop. I appreciate you watching. Know that God loves you, we love you, and you matter. Until the next time, bye-bye. That was unemphatic, wasn't it? That was not as exciting as I normally am. Bye-bye. Goodbye, I guess. Goodbye. Okay. I was trying to get through it. It's always uncomfortable. Do you know that feeling of like someone watching you? Bye-bye. The first time. The first time you perform something as a kid, or even a rehearsal for like a musical or something, and you have like your teachers and fellow students watching you and you're like a little uncomfortable and awkward. That's kind of how I feel whenever I record those YouTube intros and outros on stream, because you guys aren't the YouTube people right now. You're watching me do like a dress rehearsal of something else, and it's very uncomfortable for me. I need to just record them. Yeah, thanks for dredging up that anxiety this morning. What's up, Zando? Thank you for not redeeming a gachapon, my friend. 1 minute mystery or trivia. Which one would you like while I get your movie game ready? And also, I'll keep my list up there, Zando, if you want to tell me I'm wrong. This is the list we came up with this morning. Okay. What if Superman... Okay. What if Superman-type alien raised on Earth were evil instead of good? This movie explores that reality by shooting a fitness-loving Brad Pitt in the head. That's That's very good. That's very good. What if Superman-type alien raised on Earth were evil instead of good? This movie explores that reality by shooting a fitness-loving Brad Pitt in the head. Okay, heading into work now. Before I do, have you given an update on your NaNoWriMo? I'm about to. I'm just about to do it. I can do that while Zando's answering. We are up to 4,303 words. I've written 3 days in a row. I still don't have a title. I do have, let's find out how many pages I have written at this point. Let's see how many pages I have. So it is obviously a little bit different because I'm writing in a script format. You thought that was your mystery. That's very funny. It's a little bit different because I'm writing in script format instead of straight text. But as far as the script goes, I have 18 pages scripted. Not too shabby. 18 pages is not too shabby. 18 pages, and as so far, the Bible is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 deep. I've got 13 pages of, or 13 documents, 13 key terms on the Bible so far. So we're writing a game, you guys. We're writing a game. We got a glossary started. 13 is a solid glossary. We're only in the first act. The first act, second scene. Which I would almost call it a third scene. I might need to break up the scenes a little bit because I think that scene 2 is a little too long. But we'll figure it out as we go along. But yeah, that is my game that remains untitled. Bright burn after reading is correct. Chat's in the clap for Zando. Bright burn after reading. Brightburn was a weird one, dude. Did you guys enjoy Brightburn? I definitely wish it had come out whenever I had done a nerdy sermon because I think I would have been able to do a nerdy sermon on it. I think it has a lot of like spiritual depth, you know, theological, ethical depth, but real weird movie. Not very good. Not like a good movie, but a movie and an important story. Thanks for the update. Have a great day, y'all. You matter, trombone. Have a great day. Bye-bye. All right, mystery. 1 minute mystery for Zandu. Here we go. Zando, your mystery of the day is: an aircraft takes off and moves quickly out of sight. The aircraft doesn't use gas, wind, nuclear, or solar power, but it flies farther and faster than any craft before it. An aircraft takes off and moves quickly out of sight. The aircraft doesn't use gas, wind, nuclear, or solar power, but it flies farther and faster than any craft before it. What is the aircraft's name, and what is its power source? Oh my gosh. This isn't a mystery! Oh, these are so dumb. These are so dumb. Okay, Zando, good luck. Good luck. I guess it's pretty obvious, but it's almost, I don't know. I'm not gonna give any hints. I'll let you take your time. It's not a fly. It's not, you're not gonna like this answer, Zando. It's a pun. It's kind of a pun. I'll try and read it in a cadence. I don't know if I could read it in a cadence. An aircraft takes off and moves quickly out of sight. The aircraft doesn't use gas, wind, nuclear, or solar power, but it flies further and faster than any craft before it. Fifth Sunday retro nerdy sermons make it happen. We've talked about it forever. The issue is that unlike in a church where the fifth Sunday makes sense because it's kind of a bonus Sunday, the zeitgeist of nerdy things never stops. It's not like game developers take fifth Sunday off, you know? But I would love to. Okay, we're gonna take the next 35 minutes and work on some character design for the character for NaNoWriMo. I do have the main character officially, so I'm gonna do my best to try and design them, because by designing them, we're also gonna design the other side. I'll give you the clues, okay? The aircraft is a part of a fleet. The aircraft usually flies for 60 minutes at a time. The aircraft needs special crystals to fly. The aircraft uses a fuel based on an element with the chemical symbol Li. I'll give you the last hint. If you still haven't got it, the last hint will give it away. So if that didn't give it away, you'll get it with the last hint. So let me know if you still got nothing. Once a month. What I've thought about doing, Hunter Fan Mom, I've thought about doing a like thing where we can like, earn is a weird word, but where it could be like a bonus thing that people get from like a charity stream. So like when we reach our goals, I'll do that as like a bonus sermon or something like that. That's what I've thought about doing. That's where my head goes. So maybe. Maybe. What are you gearing up to do, Perry? Did I miss something? All right. Let's get into this character design, yeah? I don't think retro ever leaves the zeitgeist. Nerds love holding on to the stuff they love regardless of how old it is. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. There are certainly things that are worth talking about. The mystery has defeated me. I'll give you the last hint. You'll get it, I guarantee you. The last hint is the crew of this aircraft boldly goes where no other has gone before. The crew in its aircraft boldly go where no others have gone before. If you don't get it now, then I don't know what to tell you. Retro games are a thing now. People are always looking at tutorials for retro. I think it's a great untapped market. Once a month or every other month would be awesome. I don't disagree. The real issue is that we're not shorting out, you know. We have so many videos. I'm not short of ideas. That's the kind of problem. If we were like struggling to come up with ideas, I think I would agree. Okay, let's pull up our candy. The Millennium Nimbus 2000. It was! Star Trek's Enterprise uses dilithium crystals as fuel. That's not a mystery. It's not a mystery. So bad. It's so bad. These are the worst purchase I've ever made. Out of all of the fun purchases, I keep them available for us to do purely because of the fact that they're so bad that it's just fun. It's gross fun. That's not a real thing, right? Throw these cards in the trash. I always do. Every time we do them, I throw them in the trash. Oh my goodness. It's so awful. Okay, let's see. Let's put the keyboard. Where am I with the keyboard? This keyboard never has a place to go. Light them on fire. Light them aflame. Okay. Morning, folks. What's up, Zargathos? How we doing? I slept from 9:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. and it was awesome. That sounds wonderful. Hunter Fan Mom, are you saying it seems like I'm digging for content? Are you throwing shade right now? I'm not digging. No digging. I don't remember. Do I use Pokemon cards for this, or do I use a different screen? I guess I use Pokemon cards. Okay, let's see. Let's try and do this without. Other way. Okay. One of these days, I'm just gonna have this setup memorized. But that day is not today. Oh no, this looks awful. Oh no, it looks awful. Ah, come on. Give me some WD-40, somebody. Somebody get me some WD-40, please. Somebody invest in some WD-40 for me, please. No, I'm saying if you wait too long to add retro, it might seem that way. Oh, I feel like. Pretty good. Fam got hammered by the flu a while back, and little one wasn't strong enough to fight it off herself. She had a 5 days too, and then no! Oh, I'm so sorry. That's so not fun. That's an absolute nightmare. Anytime babies are sick, it's the worst. I'm so sorry. All right, let's see. Rotate 180 degrees. Yeah. Nice. All right, dope. Okay, so this is our character designs from last week. We designed a Gariel as one of our characters, and we designed our Nervous Wreck. So this is our Evil But Not character. This is our Nervous Wreck character. This was what I came up with for the Nervous Wreck, just to kind of get them arted out a little bit, try to figure out more of their character. And now we're going to work on our MC, who's actually based off of an animal called a genet, I think is how you pronounce it, a Genet. These are cat-like creatures from Africa and Europe. And they are not cats, they're just carnivorans out of the Genetta scientific name of the Viverinae classification. And they're super cute. I love their design, I love their aesthetic, and so I wanted to work on them. I knew I wanted our MC to be a cat, and I found this one, and it has spots, and it's cute. It's also incredibly hard to design because it's so detailed, and that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Larvitar height, get after it. Home now and doing great. Went back to school this week, but her in a face mask was terrible. I hate that. I really do. I hate that so much. That is like an absolute nightmare. Okay, so a couple of the hallmark traits of this creature is that they have kind of a slender face. So I know I want their face to be kind of like lean, while also having that like circle shape. I don't want it to be quite so square. And then they have huge ears. Huge ears. So I'm wanting to almost like over dramatize the cat ears. So they need to be tall like that, almost bat-like. He's almost got a bat-like face. And then the eyes are kind of fox-like. But again, this kind of makes him almost look evil. So this is really just a very early draft. Very early draft. And then they have short little legs. So I'm trying to figure out, I know I want the body to be like a pretty standard oval, maybe in a little bit of a tummy on it. But it needs to have like shortish legs. And it's got like almost like a spotted lemur tail is what it reminds me of. What I'm having to remind myself of as I continue to design these characters, is that I have to kind of like remember that I don't have to design them because they're not actually the animals. They're their own thing. And so I'm trying to like remind myself consistently that these characters don't have to look exactly like they look in real life. And that's tricky. He's got like tufted fur. So I might do tufted. And then this one that I'm looking at almost has like boots. Too high. Can I ask a dumb question? What are these characters for? Sure, Zargothos. So I am participating in NaNoWriMo this year. And my NaNoWriMo project is I'm actually developing a game. And the game that I'm developing and working on is kind of like a Danganronpa, kind of a murder mystery, but with basically a Digimon twist. So they're all based off of Digimon kind of characters, kind of animal-esque Pokemon characters. He's not nervous, but I'm giving him a nervous pose, just because that'll help me visualize where the hands need to be. I was on stream when you were first mentioning that. Yeah, that was last week where we kind of started the design. So this is the early designs that we've been doing. We designed like an insect-like character that's supposed to be the nervous wreck character of the group, and he's based off of a praying mantis. So that's what he kind of looks like when he's happy. This is his nervous pose. But he's definitely got the bean mouth look. And then we also designed a Gariel character that's going to look very evil, but not actually be evil, just kind of be misconstrued as this evil type character. And that's what we're kind of working with. So now we're working on designing our main character, who currently looks just like a fox. Going to lurk for a bit to make progress at work. Catch you in a bit. All good, Humar. We're gonna start Beacon Pines at 10 o'clock. So I'm gonna work on this for another like 25 minutes, and then we're gonna jump into Beacon Pines and see if we can beat it today. My goal is to beat Beacon Pines today. That's my goal. I wonder if he's almost too stubby. I don't know, they're real stubby. They're stubby little things, and they have beautiful faces. That was what attracted me to it immediately, was that I wanted so badly to recreate this face pattern. By the way, you jinxed my house last night. I didn't dream of the scary baby, but my wife dreamt about planning for a third. Her dream was quite scary to me. Oof. That's on me. Totally on me. Phone is going off, but I don't know where it is. Spam! Spam! When will election season finally be over? I know the answer, I'm just saying. Okay, I mean, I think I get the design. He looks a little mouse-ish, a little weaselish, a little foxish, but he's his own thing. Now we just gotta kind of solidify the design a little bit. I like that those two characters I've made so far have their hands clasped together. Never. Agreed. That's how it feels. I think the tail's my favorite part. Although it is coming up a little too low for how I've designed the body. So, what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna ink this. the Genet is like a David Pumpkins. It's an old thing. It does have kind of a raccoon mask, but it's not exactly right. It almost has little triangles under its eyes, and then under those triangles are little darker triangles. And then these are also darkened lines. So what I think I might do is ink it just so that I can see what I like and don't like. And then we can take away what we don't like and add what we do like. He almost looks like Sphinxish. Sphinxish. Ink it. Hashtag ink it. Yeah. Just to see what shapes we're digging and not digging. Because just looking at the design that I've done, right? He's got like the oval body shape. He's got two little circles for legs. And then he's got like almost a triangle for a head. It's like a type of triangle. Then the tail. Flat feet, like a standard cat. And then it's got to be short arms. So if he were praising the sun, it's got to be short arms. Hallelujah. So he's got a little body, and then the ears are the big accentuating feature, which are just two other triangles. He's just a mouse. He's just a mouse. Oh my goodness. Just a big mouse. Just a big mouse with more design. Yeah. Let's give it a shot. So normally I would probably ink it with a smaller marker or ink it even with a brush, but I'm gonna do a Sharpie just so I can get these dramatic shapes. Because again, the purpose of this is not to create a final design. The purpose of this is to figure out what shapes I'm liking and what shapes I'm not liking. So keep that in mind. And also to kind of find where our lines are. Oh man, I need to change my category to art, don't I? Can you call this art? Yeah, again, it's like the tail is what I really like. The tail's almost my favorite part. So maybe as I continue to craft him, that's what I need to like hone in on. What is it about this part of the design that's making me happy? Something about the use of triangles, I think, is making me happy with this character. So that might be what we end up settling in on. Their legs are also definitely spotted. Feet are not, though. But this would be like a continuation of its belly. How long have you been drawing? I mean, since I was a kiddo. But I guess not like intentionally. I've been intentionally working on it since COVID. But it's something I'm not super confident in, so I always try to take time to be more intentional about learning better practices. Is this a dark mark? It is. This is not. Yeah, those eyes are way too thin. It looks devious, which is not what this character needs to be. Like, it looks like the fox from, it looks just like the fox from Animal Crossing. I think I'm making its eyes too serious. My brain tells me things like if you draw something every day for 6 months, you'll get good, but I always drop after 2 days. Yeah, I'm never very consistent. The most consistent I've been was with my Delibird days. That's where I was drawing every day. I did the like draw a box thing. Have you ever heard of draw a box? That at least helped me think of things in terms of shapes. And I think I at least developed somewhat understanding whenever I started working on that. But I wouldn't call it a good understanding. Yeah, Drawbox, it's a website designed by this guy who essentially has like a step-by-step process of how to learn how to draw based off of design patterns and shapes. His belly doesn't go low enough, does it? Does his arm have patterns? They do. So his arms almost need to have spots too. Sounds right up my alley. Yeah, if you want to learn some, like, I guess I can only compare it to, like, my music experience. If you want to learn theory, right, that's where you're going to learn theory. Interesting. Oh, and then, of course, the whiskers. The biggest thing it taught me, the biggest lesson that I learned from Drawbox was how to hold my arm. No joke. I was so used to putting my elbow down whenever I draw. Your arm should never touch the table. Your arm should be hovering. If you're drawing from your elbow, you're drawing incorrectly. You should be drawing from your shoulder. Look at you being an illustrator. I don't know about all that. Card carrying member of stick figures are nothing. Yeah, so that was the biggest thing that I had to learn was, like, draw with your arm or draw with your shoulder instead of your elbow, and you'll be amazed at how much your control will change. Which, granted, I'm not saying I'm like a savant, but if I tried to draw with my elbow, it would not look this good. Not saying this is good. Not saying this is bad either. I'm proud of this. It looks pretty good. It's pretty decent. But I just don't like how sly it looks. It needs to be friendlier. It needs to be friendlier. Struggled my whole life with handling pens and other marking tools. I have as well. I had to go to like phonics for holding pens, where they had the, like, little grippers that I had to learn how to re-hold a pencil. The angle of the eyes doesn't help. I honestly don't like the eyes at all. I'm almost thinking about changing the entire design. So looking at the actual animal, this is what the eyes kind of. Oh, I'll draw the pencil rather than a Sharpie. Looking at the actual animal that I'm basing this off of. The eyes have this angle at the top and an angle at the bottom. And so they kind of, like, drip below and then go up. So that's, like, the actual design of the eyeball of this animal, right? And then it's got kind of like the cat's eye experience. So that's like how the actual eye on this animal looks. And so that's what I tried to go for a cartoony version of, but it doesn't look right. Pivot points on the shoulder are the most versatile. Yeah, it's got to be super. It's like almost it's almost locked in this position. But just letting you know more about this character. So the aesthetics are that they're a sleuth. So I'm trying to figure out how can I use the sly nature of the eyes to inspire more of a sleuth vibe than a criminal. Not a criminal vibe. That's what I'm working on. What is the fox, right? It looks like a fox. It's called a genet. I'll pull up a picture of a genet so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the animal that this is based off of. His ears also are almost his ears are almost rounder than I made them too. So I wonder if I could make them like wider. Like I said, more bat-like. They really are bat-like. So I'm focusing on triangles. But if his ears are not triangles, but they could be like popsicles. Popsicles would almost be a better look. Paul Abdul's hit and run video for a reference? Are you being serious? Yeah, his eyes are very squinty. And they're not as cartoony as the praying mantises, right? Or even the gharial. The gharial even has like Vegeta eyes. So I think what I'm doing is I'm trying to go for too realistic. So maybe I need to blow up the head, expand it a little bit, and make bigger eyes. You know what I actually do want to look at? Let's look at like, let's look at some of the cats in Animal Crossing. So they go for very much this like pointed in the corners, pointed in the side, and then up and over, up and over. Ooh, Sly Cooper. Let's look at Sly Cooper. And the Thievis Raccoonus. Okay, Sly has Ash Ketchum eyes. So Sly's eyes are flat on the bottom, and then they go up into little like hexagons. And he has a smaller pupil. So that's Sly's eyes. So I could always borrow from that. Yeah, the snout definitely needs to be long. The head is definitely round. The ears need to be more curved. I almost wonder if he needs to like have his back a little bit more out. He almost looks a little like Mario from the Mario movie with his rumpus. And so then the game plan with this character is, so this is the main character, and then character number, let's see what number it is. Character number 12 is a color swap of this exact design. They're like twins. Or even another Genet style. Made the head bigger, but kept the same size snout. It might work with the eyes. Make the eyes more circle and less oval. I definitely like the idea of making them taller. Like I think the Sly Cooper is a good inspiration mixed with the kind of Animal Crossing. We could almost take them out a little bit, but keep them flat on the bottom, you know? And I think that would do it. How many characters do you have plans for? Oh, I planned them all. If you mean how many do I have, like, designed, it's just the 2. Now it'll be 3. It's just the gharial and the praying mantis and main character. I'm almost thinking hexagonal. I think that hexagon's working. Or not hexagon, but pentagon. Flat on the bottom within the 5 sides. But I have all, how many is all? Oh, 12. There are 12 monsters. 12 monster types. And then there are a couple humans that I have to design. But they're honestly going to be like pretty much faceless. They might even be like the assistant from Powerpuff Girls, like faceless. You just see their like down, chin down. So I'm going to make notes because we only have a couple more minutes. But head more rounded, larger, Sly Cooper eyes. Ears popsicle shaped. So let's take all this information and see if we can get it into a aesthetic. But yes, all 12 characters have been personified. They've all been figured out. I don't want to rip this out. This has a lot of important notes. But I need it for reference. I'll just take a picture and do this later because there's no way I'm going to be able to take a picture when my phone is right here. Oh, I know what I could probably do. I mean, I do have a literal computer right next to me. How do I zoom in on here? Yeah, we really don't have time. Okay. So bigger, more circle head. Let's focus on making, that's a pretty big circle, but you never know. You never know. We can slim it down as we kind of craft it. Keep the oval body, but almost make it kind of got the bean shape towards the back, so he's got more of a rumpus. Still got the like big circle cat legs, the flat feet, bunny feet. Still got that tail, because I really liked the tail design. That's a weird, did some weird things there. Keep the tail. Really, it's the face that we're working on, isn't it? Thanks for the lurk, Country Fan Mom. Appreciate you. It almost looks like a squirrel now. That's interesting. Wonder if those eyes are big enough. Definitely is already looking friendlier though, isn't it? Definitely friendlier. Just immediately. Those eyes helped so much. Could still keep that design. Keep the triangles. It almost needs eyebrows though. Could we go with like Mickey Mouse-esque? Or does that really make it look too mouse-ish? I don't know though, it almost looks kind of it almost looks kind of friendly with the eyebrows, which is kind of what we're going for. But I wonder if they're almost too, maybe they need to be like more sleuth-esque. Then they would match the triangles. Yeah, that's doing it. That's definitely doing it. He almost looks a little Five Nights at Freddy. Oh no! Have I made a FNAF character, dudes? I don't want that. I don't think that's what I want. Definitely friendlier, definitely more inquisitive. The eyes are a huge improvement. Step in the right direction. Would you want to play as this character, I guess is the question. Would this be a character that would excite you to be able to play as? Insomniac? Yeah, well the eyes are definitely still just penciled in, so it's hard to tell. Oh, the wide-eyed coffee jitters. Yeah, the eyes are maybe a little hard to understand just because I haven't outlined them yet. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I think that's a strong character. I think that is a strong character. I like that a lot. And he'll be easy to do a color swap with because he's got these bold patterns. And then he's gonna have spots on the back and stuff like that and spots on the legs. So that'll be very easy to do a color swap of. And maybe with the color swap, we could even make the eyes like a little angrier or something to give like an aggressive twin, the bad twin, the evil twin. They're not evil, but just to continue to connote that idea. Yes, I love it. So we went from this to this, this to this. That's why we design. You know what doesn't get enough animation in video games? The tail. In nature, tails tell a lot about a character through movement and direction. That'd be fun to be able to tell the story to like emote, because that's all I've really got to work with. Is the tail and the arms and the eyes. So as I do sprites, I could continue to tell the story through the tail. Especially with a tail that expressive. All those lines. Yeah. Solid. Well, look at us. Look at us. We have 3 characters designed. Still got to draw out Gariel's body, but I mean, it's pretty easy. Pretty easy. Just a big triangle. A big triangle, the big old bulkhead. Praying Mantis is already pretty well designed. I mean, obviously I could make some touches and some adjustments to him, but he's got the slump. Looks good. Feels good. And then we worked on our MC, Janet, whose name is Greer, by the way, for those of you that want to know, for those of you that want the spoilers. There's Greer. Dope! Chats in the cloud. Thanks for your help, everybody. I appreciate you letting me do this in our Thursday sessions. I'm enjoying NaNoWriMo so much. I'm having a lot of fun with it this year. It's different because I have a project in mind, and I feel like the art is helping inspire the story, you know? Having a vision of these characters is helping me figure out what I want the story to be like. Because I'm able to figure out the characterization of the people through their design. That feels good. Dope! Well, let's get into some Beacon Pines. Before we do that, I'm gonna go use the restroom, and then we'll be back and play some Beacon Pines. And maybe we'll finish it today. Who could say? All right, I'll be back momentarily. See you soon. Running on a 9-volt. What am I supposed to do? Hook him up to a car battery? I need more power. Give me more power! You can't, oh no, a thing shot out. All right, well maybe that was the problem. There's a little thing in there. He has chronic fatigue. He needs some help. Now if I like wave him around, woohoo! Woo! Just not feeling it. It's because it's not Christmas yet.
Brings out the best in me, unlike the violating heat of August that fills the space between the dirt and the heavens. Only a handful of moons prior to the golden treetops and the ritualistic pumpkin and maple that stirs our hearts and reveals our need for stupid, cheery things. It almost worked. Some lines really worked well. All right, next stanza. So in between the stanzas, Shorty, oh my angel, you're my darling angel. Closer than my peeps you are to me, baby. The earth is falling asleep, laying, he said, to rest in the fading foliage. On the ground, folding up the data, smaller.
We back, and we're getting right on into it, folks. We've got to beat Beacon Pines. I feel like we're so close. I feel like we're on the precipice of beating this game. It's just a couple more branches. We'll see if we can finish it today. We got 2 hours. We got 2 hours. One of these days I'll be able to fully sing along with that song from that break. Well, you never know, because I'm going to update the highlight eventually. So once I do that, everything will change.
Luca switched on his walkie-talkie.
Oh, okay. So to catch people up with where we are, first off, it's very loud. So I'm going to go ahead and crank it down just a notch. Let's say 5. To catch everyone up with everything we know, I'm going to spoil everything for you here, okay? So Solomon is this little dog, and he is actually a clone of the person who built this town named Sharper Valentine. And he is experimenting on other human beings in this secret lab based off of a thing that they found called the Source. He's using this mysterious ability of the Source to find the secret to eternal life. Our mom went missing, but now we learned that she actually got into a vat of some experimental juice, and it aged her, making her look like our gran. So the person that we thought is our gran this entire time is actually our mom. I don't think he's Solomon made younger. Maybe he is. I think he's Solomon reborn. I think he is a clone of the original Sharper Valentine with the same consciousness or something. They haven't said anything about younging potions. They've only talked about aging ones. So I don't know the actual story. We haven't seen any clones, but we also haven't seen anyone get younger. My theory is that he's a clone. We have currently broken in to the Perennial Harvest, which is the place where they're running all these experiments. And we have found Solomon. We do not know that Solomon is Sharper Valentine in this iteration. But we know, even though Luca doesn't know. The way he talked to everyone made me think he was younger and then aged at the event because Mom and Gran was made older. No. Mom and Gran was made older a long time ago. Mom and Gran have been older for months at this point. That was because she climbed into a vat of his experimental gook. Okay. Back into it. Let's find out what happened. In this iteration, Rollo has also been tampered with by the gook and is now like a young adult. He's a big Rollo. He's Roldo. And Beck, I think, had some of it splash in her hair, and her hair grayed, and now she's dyed it blue. The two of them have made it to wherever they need to go to discover the secrets, whereas Roxy and I don't remember the squirrel's name fooled the clipboards and the bad guy into thinking that they were Roldo and Beck. There's a lot. But well, I'll catch you up along the way, folks. The whole VOD's on YouTube, so if you want to watch through every single bit by bit, feel free to do that. But I'll try to explain things as we get to it, and you'll see my excitement as we learn new things, because every single time something new happens, I'm like, what are you talking about? So you'll experience that in real time. Okay. Rollo, I'm in. Oh, we've already done all this. Okay, we've done all this. I'm going to catch us up to where we were.
On the computer.
Basically, Solomon is trying to stop us. Solomon's trying to stop us because he doesn't want us to find out the truth.
Luca, quickly.
24601. We've been through this, yep.
Once again,
we're trying to break in deeper into the Perennial Harvest to figure out exactly what's going on. So Solomon just triggered the alarm, letting all the bad people know that we're in here. They're chasing after us. They're chasing after Roldo and Beck. However, we're going to create a diversion, and they're going to chase them down into the corridor. That's a dead end.
Mr. Kerr, with
Last thing I remember is that Roxy kicked Kerr. Yep, there's Roxy and the squirrel. Yep, she kicks him. That's where we left off. Cool. Don't just stand there. After them. Okay, I think that worked. I'm having trouble following what just happened. Like I said, it's good to have friends. Rolo, how long do you think Roxy can distract them? How long can Roxy keep someone so pissed off they can't see straight? Let's just say we've got time. Entering Nellie's office now. Mom! Oh yeah, our mom is trapped in here. Or Beck's mom is trapped in here, so we're trying to save her. Oh, honey, what did you do to your hair? I thought you'd be happy I finally used the young chemist lab kit. You sure have a knack for making me incredibly proud in the most frustrating ways. Oh, hashtag parenting. We need to get you out of here. We? Who is your adult friend? Oh, I'm not an adult. Ever heard of a growth spurt? I had more of a growth spew. Gross. That's awful. No, that's not possible.
Nellie leaned over to examine his teeth.
Substantial banding of the enamel and the molars, consistent with the Tempest liquamine exposure. Is that what you call the gunk they forced me to drink? You drank it? Oh no. They told me it was only being tested on plants. Oh, Beck. Sweetie, I promise I didn't know. Mom, what is going on at this place? I was brought here to work on the discovery of a lifetime. A novel chemical compound was discovered under Beacon Pines in a wellspring they called the Source. They named it Tempest liquamine. It pulls energy from its surroundings in order to fundamentally alter matter's relationship to time. It was the secret to Valentine's fertilizer. They harvested the source, infusing small amounts of Tempest liquamine within the product. It worked wonders, drastically accelerating plant growth. Crops would be ready to harvest in a fraction of the time. But it led to complications. The foul harvest! Perennial harvest came in to clean up the mess, to succeed where Valentine failed. But Tempest liquamine is rebellious. Rebellious? You can think of it as a manifestation of change itself. It's volatile by its very nature. So the more you try to force it to do a specific thing, the more it resists, yes. And I can relate to that. My role was to finish the work of my predecessor, Dr. Prescott, harnessing Tempest liquamine to reliably manipulate an organism's age. Just imagine how many people we could feed. Mr. Kerr was very insistent that we achieve a successful result before today's festival. But you didn't, right?
Nellie sighed.
You know how much I love a good puzzle. I poured myself into the problem. It wasn't long until I discovered oddities in Dr. Prescott's notes. Oddities? They contained obvious errors, mistakes that someone of his reputation would never make. So I fixed them, and now I get to replace my entire wardrobe. I really am truly sorry. So it's her fault? She perfected it? Nah, these clothes were all hand-me-downs anyway. Sounds like Dr. Prescott figured it out, got cold feet, and intentionally sabotaged his own work. I'd considered that possibility. I sent a letter asking him to clarify his thinking. Mom, Dr. Prescott is dead. Kerr had him killed. What? I overheard them talking about it on the radio. It's why we gotta get you out of here. Like now. Wait, the vial! I finally solved the chemical equation, allowing direct control of aging. Mr. Kerr picked it up just before you came. All the more reason we gotta hightail it. Luca, we've got Dr. Modal, heading your way now. Roger that. Be careful. All right, everything's on track. And what is your plan for escape? We'll go over everything when they get here. In the meantime, maybe we can dig up some more info. Let's see what else this bad boy has on it. Security system, time card logs, payroll. You know, for being so evil, this guy sure is boring.
Solomon muttered inaudibly.
Just you wait. Huh? Oh, nothing. Malice 80 proof whiskey. Who was the Dr. Kerr had killed? Was it Prescott? It was. A hard drink for a hard man. Wow, even his alcohol is arrogant.
Solomon once again muttered under his breath.
I should just smother you right now. What was that?
I said I shouldn't bother you right now.
Don't be silly. You're no bother at all. It looks like the founder was helping Kerr plan the festival. Why would such a secretive leader be obsessed with a party?
Only time will tell.
Luca held his hand up to the ashtray.
Still warm. He must have been here recently. You're telling me the man was smoking? Solomon the dog smells like cigarettes. And he's got books on the chair. You guys, how am I not piecing it together? Come on, Luca. Luca. Come on, buddy. There's books on the chair because he's too short.
On each of the cabinets.
Perhaps Prescott has cracked the code to control aging forward and back and was forced to use it on Solomon and was killed. I think Prescott knew that Solomon is evil and was intentionally sabotaging and stalling for time and trying to figure out a way. Maybe Prescott was working with, what's his name? The drugstore guy. He was working with the drugstore guy trying to figure out a way to stop Solomon and got caught and then got killed. I think Prescott solved the mystery, but was intentionally sabotaging it. So they brought in somebody that didn't know how evil Solomon was. And she solved it right away because she's a genius. But Prescott could have done it, but was intentionally sabotaging.
Dang, this must be the good stuff. They're all locked. Perhaps he's not as careless as you suspected.
I'm really sorry you got dragged into this mess, Solomon.
You needn't worry about me.
Well, I feel bad either way. We're gonna get you out of this, I promise.
With a subtle, quivering lip, a smile crawled across Solomon's face. They heard the trampling of frantic footsteps from the hallway.
Lock it, lock it, lock it!
Locked.
That was close. When we left Nellie's office, it was swarming with clipboards.
We barely got away. Did they follow you?
Yes.
Rollo.
Before we start tossing blame around, is it possible someone ordered a pizza?
We'd love to hear your thoughts. Definitely not pizza. What now?
Don't look at me. I'm officially retiring from the heisting business.
We're so sorry for the inconvenience. We just have a few quick questions. Just let me think. Can someone watch the door?
Of course.
Oh, he's going to let him in. He's going to let him in. He's going to let him in. Stop it. Everyone else, huddle up. Oops.
I think this little caper has gone on long enough.
Solomon, no.
Hush now, child. The adults are speaking. Mr. Modwell, or Dr. Modwell, a brief reintroduction is in order. We've never met in person, but we have corresponded. You see, it was I who hired you. Solomon, the pathetic orphan child, the powerful and enigmatic founder, Sharper, the fallen progenitor who created this town. Perennial harvest, Valentine Fest, or fertilizer, all connected by a single thread. Yours truly.
Didn't finish a bridge. No, I have not finished a bridge. Does it sound just like Rollo? I know you've mentioned Rollo sounds very similar. But that's...
Her eyes searched the floor in thought. Solomon watched eagerly, waiting for the flicker of epiphany. With a sickened look, she peered into his soul.
Haha, yes. Now you've got it.
Tempest Licomine, you discovered how to reverse the process. Well, there you go.
Solomon clapped with
Sounds like Hunter Fan had it figured out. I thought he was a clone. So then why does he re-age himself?
Very good, Dr. Modwell. Very good. Though the discovery wasn't intentional.
Solomon glanced down, examining his youthful form.
And the effects went a little too far for my tastes.
That's why you needed me to finish Dr. Prescott's work.
Which you did, admirably. Mr. Kerr, the vial,
Kerr
please.
presented it with a theatrical twirl of the hand.
Rollo sounds similar, but the clipboard voice you just used, the Kermit the Frog one, is also similar to a voice they used for the Ancient Saiyans in the abridged Bardock movie. Most adults outside the town would not take a child CEO seriously. May I present to you the eighth
Before
wonder
he could
of
finish,
the...
Rollo snatched the vial from Kerr's palm.
Rollo!
Well, this stuff sounds pretty valuable.
Be careful, you fool! You have no idea what you have in your hand.
Actually, we do. You just did a whole evil villain monologue thingy
Rollo
about
casually tossed the vial to Luca.
Gosh, Maybe I'll have a
Luca
taste.
tickled the vial mockingly.
No. We actually remember in our nightmares we see the older version of ourselves? Are we gonna become old Luca? Oh! Old Luca? Seize him.
Luca! Over here! Move another inch and I
She
smash
held
it.
it tightly behind her back. Solomon sighed, speaking in crisp, measured syllables.
You have no plan. I'll smash it, I swear. Fine. Risk killing us all. Or if you're lucky, nothing happens, and then what? We capture you and grant you much
He
less
pursed his
leniency.
lips with feigned sincerity.
But I give you my word, if you hand it over now, none of you will be harmed.
A deep uncertainty washed over Beck.
You're a smart girl, Beck. But there's no shame in being outwitted by someone smarter than you. We both know there's only one way this
She
ends.
looked to Nellie shakily. With a dispirited nod, Nellie sighed in defeat. Beck slowly approached Solomon.
That's a good girl. Beck, don't do it! We can't trust that jerk. I'm sorry. He's right.
With apprehension, Beck conceded.
No, Beck!
Solomon pocketed the vial and brushed off his shoulder with a sharp flick.
Mr. Kerr, you've allowed yourself to be humiliated by a group of children. Report to my office tomorrow for a
The
performance
blood
review.
drained from Kerr's face.
Of course, sir. But first, you have a speech to make. Trot out there and give me the introduction I deserve. And don't forget to smile.
Yes, sir.
And to think, all of this is thanks to the efforts of Mr. Van Horn. I don't understand. How is this all because of me? Ha! I said Mr. Van Horn, silly child. Dr. Walt Van Horn. Your father was always a thorn in my side. I offered him an opportunity to be a part of something great. But the fool was blinded by righteousness. He even broke into my laboratory in an attempt to sabotage my work.
Solomon shook his head with gratification.
But the universe has a funny way of correcting course. By meddling with a force he didn't understand, Walt showed me its true potential. As fate would have it, Luca, your father's dying act was to grant me eternal life.
A muffled applause resonated faintly through the walls.
Well, that's my cue. After the festivities and my subsequent ascension, I will return to deal with you all. Until then, I suggest you use this time to reflect on the magnitude of your failure. You three, keep post outside the door.
Bets on if Beck gave him a false vial. Did she switch out the vials? She grabbed a fake vial. She grabbed a fake vial from Nellie's binder and she gave him the one that's not right. And he's gonna explode. He's gonna burst into flames or something. I don't know what he's gonna do. But it ain't gonna be pretty. It ain't gonna be pretty. He's gonna turn into whatever Iggy turned into. She switched the vials. I know it. She had to have. Please.
Oh, crap.
Come on, Beck. Tell the truth.
Hey, I'm sorry, Luca. I did what I had to do. I know, it's just we were so close.
I've got a feeling that eventually Solomon will get what's coming to him. She did it, dude. She totally did it.
Time wounds all heals.
That's a very good pun. Or what is it? Is that a pun?
Well, time seems like less of an issue for him now.
Come on, tell the truth, Beck. Tell us what
Nellie
you
was
did.
staring at the floor, deep in thought.
I'm sorry, Luca. Give me a minute to calm my mind.
I can't believe Beck sold us out like that. She wouldn't.
I'm not sure she had any other choice.
So what now? What's the plan?
I don't have one.
Of course you do. You always have a plan.
Rollo.
You just need some time.
Rollo. It's over. We lost.
No, we didn't.
Luca, there's something you should know. After Mr. Kerr locked me in that office, I had nothing but time and curiosity. I poked around a bit, hoping to find a means of escape, but I found something else. A note, hidden in a false drawer. What sort of note? Dr. Prescott must have sensed his time at Perennial Harvest was growing short, so he left behind a letter, with the hope it would be found by his successor. It was a confession of sorts. He left it for me, but its contents... Luca, I think they were meant for you.
Is Dr. Prescott our dad? What's happening? What's happening right now? Why? What did it say? It was about an incident with your mother. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is whenever our mom got old. Dr. Prescott found her in his lab with a stolen key card. There was an accident. She had been exposed to extreme amounts of Tempest liquamine.
The color dropped from Luca's face.
She survived. Dr. Prescott helped her to recover. He no longer trusted Perennial Harvest, so he kept her whereabouts a secret. Over time, your mother led him to consider the purpose of scientific discovery. Science is often at the vanguard of change, but that doesn't mean it's always right. He realized that no one should have control over something as powerful as time itself. I now believe that's why he began to intentionally sabotage his own work. And it cost him his life. That's a reasonable conclusion.
Luca was overwhelmed with emotion.
But if she's alive, where has she been? Where is she now?
A sudden explosion sounded from the hull.
She totally
Chapter
gave him a
8.
false smile, dude. Did he just pop like a balloon?
Ears still ringing, Gran picked herself up off the ground. Through the dust and smoke, she looked over to see Mrs. Fratelli helping Hiram Tolliver to his feet. She'd had to beg, borrow, and steal to acquire those explosives. How many nights had she spent visualizing how she'd use them to make things right? And now, her one shot at destroying the source, that damned hole that swallowed so much of her life, was gone.
Oh, did it freeze over and we didn't because we're inside?
Traded for this jagged hole in a wall and a foolhardy shot at rescuing Rollo. With Fratelli and Tolliver at her side, she stepped through. It was a strange feeling. The last time she'd stalked this maze of hallways, it was in a different body. They quickly rounded a corner to find a group of clipboards guarding a door. Something worth guarding is probably something worth seeing. She leapt forward, brandishing her cane. If her last chance at vengeance for things lost was truly gone, she would just have to fight to keep what she still had.
Well, look at that. Our three other heroes. I love that they have the same mustache. It's the same band of heroes. It's just the old band of heroes. I love that he has the mustache too. Oh, it's perfect. He is just our Rollo. Gran, what are you doing here? Luca, what are you doing here? We're here to save Nellie. We're here to save Rollo. Hey, Miss Lucas Gran. That's awful nice of you, but I'm fine. Oh no, what did they... Gran, there's no time to explain. We have to go now. Come on, everyone. We got a party to crash.
They made their way out from deep within Perennial Harvest, just as Solomon finished up his speech.
Thankfully, we can dispense with the formalities from here on out.
Solomon pulled a glass vial from his pocket. In one smooth motion, he downed its contents. A triumphant smile grew across Solomon's
I'm telling
lips.
you, Bet gave him the wrong vial, and he's about to burst into, like, grossness. No!
Well, I guess that's it. We lost. I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Told ya.
With a mischievous look, Beck elbowed Luca. Remember when I had the vial behind my back?
I might have tweaked his Wonder Potion with a little... Oh, I like all these answers. I want to do all of them. I'm going to say change. Malice? Oh, but he's going to like pop like a bubble. I like change. We're going to go with change. We can do the other ones
Might
too.
have tweaked his Wonder Potion with a little change.
Like, pocket change?
Your unlucky penny. Oh, it really is change. Okay, that's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I plopped it in the vial when no one was looking.
What's that going to do?
No idea. That's the beauty of science. Now we observe. You can all call me Sharper Valentine.
His body and face began to contort and expand as he disappeared into a belching green mist.
Did he get younger? I wasn't expecting a coup. I was not expecting a baby coup.
Holy crap, he's a baby? Yeah, but he's still sharper, right? What he was no longer matters.
Look at how mad he is! Oh, look at him! Look at how mad! He's so mad! Oh, he's grumpy.
This is an uninnocent child.
What are you, little baby? What are you, little baby? The scowl is so good, the mean mug.
I apologize for all the harm my father has caused you.
Eris awkwardly cradled the squirming child. She looked to her brother, her voice shaking with uncertainty.
Augustus, what do we...
We do what Valentines always do. What must be done? I'll hurry home and prepare a crib for father, the young sharper.
That would be a great help. Thank you.
She looked back down at the infant with equal parts kindness and terror in her eyes.
Oh.
With a shake of her head, Eris addressed the crowd with a stern scowl.
Okay, everyone, the show is over. You may leave now.
Epilogue. Beacon Pines' coldest summer on record came and went without much fanfare. Folks shared what they had, and none were left wanting. The new school year was ushered in by the falling leaves of autumn. After everything Luca, Rollo, and Beck had been through, middle school was bearable. The chill of winter didn't seem to bother people much. They kindled a hope for a better future in their hearts. When spring arrived, farmers planted their crops with a sense of joy and optimism.
We stumbled into the right ending. I'm not so
convinced.
We'll see. There's a lot of questions that still have to be answered, I
slowly
feel like.
spread through the shallow valley.
Maybe we just don't get the answers.
It crept over the town square, across the river, past the neglected welcome sign, and came to rest on a young boy sleeping at dawn. His mind at peace, knowing he is here for a reason.
Can't be the end.
Rollo, are you up yet?
Roger that. It's a beautiful day at Mission Control. You gonna swing by?
Be there in a minute.
Over time, Eleanor began moving Walt's old things out of the closet and into storage. Eleanor had moved back into her bedroom, and now that she wasn't sneaking out late, she even slept there most nights.
Oh my gosh, her name is Eleanor now.
Mom, I'm ready to go now.
You go on without me, I'll meet you there. I've got a batch of jam to finish jarring. It's funny, I only started making jam as a way to send messages without anyone noticing, but now I enjoy it. So, again, she made sleeping potion jam, and we're gonna need to know why. Was it really just to stop Nuncreed? Oh, the grave. That was cute.
I hear you and Rollo have big plans for that little treehouse.
Yeah, it started getting crowded after we revoked the max capacity 1 Rollo, 1 Luca rule. So we decided to expand, but at least we got some help with that. How's the internship at Nellie and Alona's shop going?
It's been great. I'm hoping it helps me get into the School of Agriculture up at State. Also, Nellie said she'd write a letter of recommendation, which would be huge. I just can't help but worry about leaving Rollo. He's grown up so fast, but he's still my little brother.
Yeah, he had a heck of a growth spurt.
I don't just mean grown, literally. This morning he was up and finished his chores before I even had breakfast.
Well, some of that might be the excitement about the treehouse renovations.
Don't tell him this, because it'll probably go to his head, but I'm really proud of that little punk.
I'm sure he feels the same way. He's just too dang proud to tell you.
I know.
Hey Gus, how's the tree planting going?
Couldn't be better. I'm so grateful to Alona and Nellie for letting me help. I just wasn't built to be a mayor. Too much bureaucracy. Guys, we finished cleaning up the sidewalks. What's
When
next?
perennial harvest collapsed, most of the clipboards skipped town. But some stuck around and dedicated themselves to making things right.
I love that.
Anyone with a knack for art can help paint the new offices. You can count on us.
Well, it looks like you really found your calling.
I never really felt comfortable telling people what to do. Now this right here, this is something I can be proud of.
Oh, Gus, I always liked you. How's the napping this morning?
The most underrated part of a good nap is the view. And the view's getting greener every day.
Nice. I see you decided on a name. Yep, we had to clear out all the old stuff before putting on the final touch. Slow and Dirty Harvest is now official. I like it. It was actually Nellie's idea. There's still a lot of work to do, and the name serves as a reminder. Just because progress is important doesn't mean change should happen fast. In fact, I've learned that the more you care about something, the more important it is to take things slow. Our motto is, go slow and fix things.
Amen to that.
I love they kept the harvest. They literally just covered the perennial part. I can't handle the baby scowl, dude. I cannot handle the scowl. Young Mr. Van Horn. How's little Solomon Sharper doing? Young Sharper seems to enjoy nature more than I. So we do a lot of strolling these days. Has he, attempted to crawl out of his crib and plot world domination? Yeah. Thankfully, no. I spoke at length with Dr. Modwell. She feels that Sharper's infant mind was not developed enough to retain his previous memories. Are you kidding me? No! No! Oh, man. We de-smartened him, dude. Are you joking? Stop it right now. We defrontal cortexed him, man. What on earth? That's insane. That is insane. For all intents and purposes, the child is unmolded clay. Let's hope he's a little nicer the second time around. That is the objective, yes. But really, all I can do is try and hope. Two activities I am endeavoring to find less distasteful. Well, I think you're doing a great job. And the whole town is ready to help out however we can. I can't wait to teach him to throw a baseball.
Eris did her best to ignore the tears welling in her eyes.
That would be acceptable. Who are you? What's today's news that needs knowing?
I'll give you tomorrow's headline today. Our old friend Patrick C. Montesquieu, a.k.a. William Carr, just performed a stirring rendition of the Iceman Cometh at the State Correctional Facility.
He's in prison.
Now I hear there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
Well, I guess he has plenty of time to work on his craft. Hilarious. Last Chance Diner. Yeah, I already knew that. Oh, I wonder what the alligator is reading in her book. Did it all turn out okay? He looked to his friends with a thankful smile. After everything that could have gone wrong, everything that did go wrong, we made it. The end.
Closing her eyes, Miss Hatch took a deep, relaxing breath.
Oh, hello, Luca. How are you? Really good, actually. That's wonderful. Did I miss anything? I think you're pretty much up to speed. That's very funny. I can't believe we picked the right ending. First try. Luca, do you want a biscotti? On the house. I don't really have time. Zerial, you gotta... I finally did it. I don't know what they did. I pulled the perfect espresso. Lumi, if I didn't know better, I would think you're proud of something. As if I... No. It's too late. You're now officially a person that cares. Everyone's better. Everyone changed. Hey, Luca, can you tell Roxy I'll be free in an hour? Sure thing. My dad's making me stock the shelves for the summer. He said it builds character. I think he meant it builds calluses. Builds character. There, he's just a clipboard. He's just another clipboard. Yeah, it builds something all right.
Luca, can I interest you in a delicious apple?
He playfully waggled an apple.
No thank. Just saying hello. No thank. No thank.
Well, hello then. Mind telling your mom we need a new crate of jam?
Already?
It's funny, I used to hide this stuff in the back, terrified that someone would find out about our secret messages. Now everyone wants to get their hands on Eleanor Van Horn's famous spy jam.
No thanks.
Wow, back for seconds? If it's not too much trouble, for the longest time I didn't understand the appeal of ice cream. It serves no purpose other than to be briefly enjoyed and it's gone. But it's pretty tasty while it lasts. I'm inclined to agree.
So we kept Sharper Valentine's picture up, huh?
A bit much, if you ask.
Oh, that sign really means something now, huh? Nun Creed. That's so many bunnies! No! Jeff turned it into a ride! Ah! Jeff! That's hilarious. Jeff turned into a theme park, dude.
Hey, Mr. Nuncreed. I'm gonna go see my dad in a bit. Did you want to come with?
Even after everything I did, you
Mr. Nuncreed shook his head.
You really are your father's son, aren't you? I don't think I'm ready for that yet.
Well, you're always invited. I bet he'd love to hear from you.
I'll visit Walt in my own time. You run along now.
Over the school year, Kato and Bert had become close friends.
Well, did you know that when they covered up the source, they found a new species of fungus?
Yeah, they're studying in the new labs. Did you know that Beacon Pines is now the smallest town in the county?
Yeah, close to population before Perennial Harvest moved in.
It typically went on like this for quite some time.
I haven't really talked to you much.
Can't believe it's over. Yeah, the town's really starting to turn a new leaf. The town? I was talking about Hank Atomic. Just finished the last issue. Great as always. Hank's return, but I feel weird.
Weird can be cool. It means you're ready for something new. Any suggestions? You'd ask Miss Hatch about what she's reading. She really seems to enjoy it. Maybe I'll do that.
Luca peeked over Piper's shoulder. Laid stealthily inside a large volume of mathematics was the first issue of Hank Atomic.
Did you roll fungus? Yep.
Piper, are you reading Hank Atomic? Do you mind not telling anyone? I've kind of got a reputation to uphold. Oh, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Just about every kid in town reads Hank Atomic. Honestly, I'm excited for you. What I'd give to start over fresh. To experience it again for the first time. I guess that's the downside of finishing something nice. At least now I can enjoy it again through you. Promise not to tell me about it as you go?
Zero fungus!
Sure thing.
Are they trying to make me feel good about the end of a video game? Are they getting real meta?
With Perennial Harvest gone, the transportation tubes were left unused.
Come one, come all. No one is too big, no one is too small for Jeff's wild ride.
Maybe not completely unused.
Just one piece of candy for the ride of your life. Who's next?
Guess what? Yesterday I saw a Dynasty's Tychus. And that's good? It's great! I haven't spotted one of those in years! At this rate, Beacon Pines is going to become the bug capital of the county.
I don't really remember any characters over here. It may just be the treehouse now. No, I gotta go talk to the newsstand girl, yeah. And the diner lady. Yep. I can't believe we stumbled into the correct ending. We really were so close to finishing the game, huh? Hey, Dawn. Up at Dawn Newsstand.
I'm glad you swung by. More follow-up questions for your story? Nope, I got everything I need. Thanks again for that. I sent a draft of the story to a reporter in Capital City, and they offered me an internship. Of course they did. You're an amazing reporter. I don't know about all that. A story about a phony corporation, and it picked up an entire town of people and moved them to cover up a massive legal mine shaft full of incredibly hazardous chemicals. Sort of writes itself, if you think about it. Just don't forget about us when you become a fancy big city reporter. Capital City isn't that far away. I'm going to have to come back from time to time to check in and see what sort of new trouble you've gotten yourself into. Sorry to disappoint, but my adventuring days are over. Ha! We both know that's not true. What makes you say that? Call it a reporter's intuition.
Mrs. Fratelli glowed with a carefree smile.
Is that your suitcase? That is 2 weeks of... Where did that voice come from? It's 2 weeks of unencumbered tranquility.
Excuse me? Would you be so kind as to take my order?
2 weeks of sand, margaritas, and forgotten obligations.
Excuse me. I'd love to place an order.
Mrs. Fratelli sighed with a zen-like calm.
Just as soon as the lunch rush ends, I'll be a feather on the wind. You're going on vacation? For the first time in years, and I've got you and your mom to thank. Why's that? She didn't tell you yet? You two are going to fill in for me at the diner while I'm gone, just like old times.
It's fine. I'll wait. I like the clipboards personally. Clipboards are just fine with me.
Luca, get this. I managed to reel in an actual fish this morning. Seriously? An honest to goodness, flip-flopping, swam, and fish. I don't think I've ever caught an actual fish here. Been at least 7 years since I've caught one. I'd say it's a good omen. What do you do with it? I released it, hoping to catch it again tomorrow.
Ah,
A little higher.
yup.
Little lower.
Yup.
Little higher.
Yup.
I'm telling you, the angle isn't the issue. We need more power to the radio. Luca, there you are. Would you tell him it's not the angle?
Hey, I'm not in charge of the antenna redesign.
Fine. Iggy, just don't do anything drastic until we get back.
Oh, me?
Tish, you're in charge while I'm gone.
Yup.
They'll be fine, right? It'll be fine.
If we really want Mission Control to turn into something bigger and better, we have to loosen our grip a bit.
Oh, you're right. Lead the way.
To Beck's house. I wonder if there would have been different dialogue if I had Rolo with me. Doesn't matter, I'm not about to do it all again. Now the question is, do we go and discover more Have I never messed with that bead hive? I've never noticed that beehive. Hang on.
Luca peeked up. It appeared to be deserted.
That's strange. What? What is that about? I have news I think you'll enjoy. This morning, I unpacked my last box. You're officially moved in! It's just a box. Let's not blow this out of proportion. It sounds an awful lot like putting down roots. I guess I decided this place is root-worthy. You're gonna be stuck with me for the foreseeable future. I do have to warn you, most years aren't gonna be as interesting as this one. I think I'll manage. Ready? Before we go, there's a bit of a surprise. Still haven't unpacked my last box. I unpack it like the day I moved in somewhere. It's a tree! My mom's prepared this tree especially for you. Oh, they didn't have to do that. It wasn't just them. Just about the whole town pitched in. We all owe you. It should do okay in the cold of Old Beacon Pines, and thrive as things warm up. That's perfect. Aww. When you're ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Go see my dad.
I'm gonna see my dad. I'm gonna go see my dad.
Okay, oh, Jeff Wildride does.
I'm gonna go see my dad. Let's go see Dad. Ah, you got it. Now that's a good-looking tree. Being a special occasion and whatnot, this ride's on the house. You're gonna want to hang on tight to that little tree.
What do you think, folks? Do we go do the other routes? Do we go see what other options were ahead of us? It's a lot of reading. But I'm down. Oh, Gran, don't cry.
I think this is it.
Oh, it wasn't the Grand, it was the narrator. Either way.
The end I've been waiting for.
Gotta see what Malice did.
Honestly, I'd begun to lose hope of ever finding it.
Never lose
Then
hope.
you came along. I don't know exactly how to thank you. It's hard to explain how much this means to me.
We're gonna learn who you are.
It's funny, now that our time together is finally ending, I'm at a loss for words. Let's just watch the end together.
Done. A good little tree. The best little tree.
Thank you, children. This means a lot. Yeah, thanks for everything.
Shucks, I only did what my super awesome best buddy would have done. We should probably give you some time alone now. You good?
Yeah, I am. It's been a wild year. How are you feeling?
Everyone keeps asking me that. I'm fine, really. Pa always says the only thing fitter than a fiddle is a cello. I feel like a dang cello.
Well, if you ever stop feeling like a cello, I'm here for you.
I know, you don't even have to say it.
You two make an awesome pair.
Excuse me, we're a trio now.
Yep. Thanks.
There's just one thing missing now that you're part of our group.
Missing?
Let me tell you a little story about a man named Hank Atomic.
Oh. I won't be long.
We'll be waiting for you back at the phone booth. I found the perfect way to start our summer.
You've got some good friends. I'm so proud of you. Your father would be so proud. I know. Mom, can I ask you a question? Do you ever dream about Dad? Not a night goes by that I don't. Are you ever afraid that you're going to forget him? Forget what he looked like? Forget his voice? No, because so much of him lives on in you. He loved that old tree, but I know he would have loved this one more, because his two favorite people planted it. I'll give you two a moment.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Hey, Dad. Dr. Modwell says that over the next few years, this place should warm up. So, you won't have to be so cold for much longer. I think I finally understand why you left that night. There were things you believed in. Big things. Those beliefs were the things that made you, you. If you wouldn't have stood up to Sharper, stood up for what you believed in, you wouldn't have been the same person anymore. You had to go. That didn't mean you loved us any less. I might not visit you as much as I used to. I know you understand.
Zooming out. Wow. Closed the book. Wow, dude. No, the candle. Oh, and we leave. Roll those credits. Great job, Matt Meyer, Isle Harding, or Ilsa Harding, Matt Meyer and Brent Calhoun, Kirsten Mize, Chats in the clap. Wow, great job! Fantastic story. Excellent stuff. Some great storytelling. Small team. Very small team. And I love Fellow Traveler. For those of you that don't do the Fellow Traveler event each year, you should check it out. Ludo Narracon. Ludo Narrative Games. So good. didn't know it was a Kickstarter game. I'll have to go look up the Kickstarter and see what they reached. It always intrigues me to see Kickstarters and to see how well they did. Gotta bounce, work meetings, but enjoy the rest of stream. Appreciate you, Perry. $2,772 backers pledged basically $85,000. $85K for the game. The stretch goals. Yeah, I think they unlocked all the stretch goals. I don't see any further ones. Fishing was unlocked at 35K. Cooking was unlocked at 40K. I didn't know I could even do that. There was a cooking mechanic the entire time. The narrator was hired at 50K. The Chronicle was animated at 80K. There was a digital bundle and a collector's bundle, 80K. Wow. This was fun. I think my 11-year-old will like this. It's definitely a good game. There were a couple wordy nerds, but I mean, I would rate it a PG, I feel like. I would rate it PG. Oh. 10 years later. Hang on, there's more. But wait, there's more. Wow, nice kick. No! I found. Is he gonna remember? No! No, don't remember. Man. So interesting. So I guess I have the ability to open back up the book, yeah. Yep. And explore the other options. So I could have wept. The setup part 2, or is it all a loop? All right, we're gonna try Malice. We're gonna try Malice for Xando. Tweaked a potion with a little malice.
I might have tweaked his wonder potion with a little malice.
Malice? Oh, that Malice! No! Uh-oh. The whiskey from his office? Yep, dude had an unfinished glass on his desk. Figured his grow juice could use a little hair of the dog. You all can call me Sharper Valentine.
His body and face began to contort and expand as he disappeared into a belching green mist.
I didn't even remember that the liquor was called Malice. That's so funny. Stop! No! Oh, no! That was so much less gruesome than I thought it was going to be. He just burst into confetti. This game's absurd. Now that's what I call 80 proof whiskey. 80 poof? Now that's what I call 80 poof whiskey. Dang.
The crowd gazed in stunned silence at the now empty stage.
what's it called? A reward for that, an achievement.
The quiet was broken when William Kerr sprinted off stage and into the distance. He was never seen around Beacon Pines, or anywhere else for that matter, again.
What?
Watching the silhouette of Kerr disappear over the horizon, Luca began to laugh. First, a low chuckle that became uncontrolled, heaving laughter.
No.
Through his tears, he was vaguely aware that the crowd had begun to laugh with him.
They laughed at his confetti.
That was perhaps a bit. I'm only writing.
Whoopsie. Oh, good. Okay, I want to try the other one. I didn't know it was going to be that
might
short.
have tweaked his wonder potion.
I think
with
this
a
one's going
little
to turn him
junk.
into like a gross monster. Like what happened to Iggy.
Can't wait to see the look on his face when he realizes he drank his own cigar ash.
How did ashes get into the vial?
It was pretty easy to mess with the vial when it was behind my back. Oh, that's sneaky. Well, it's a bad habit anyways.
Paul always says bad habits are like 50-yard field goals.
Huh?
Hard to kick.
You all can call me Sharper Valentine.
His body and face began to contort and expand as he disappeared into a belching green mist.
Oh, he got Thanos into his daughter? Well, that's one way to kick a bad habit. Oh my gosh.
As the last
so they're
of
both
what
gruesome.
was once Sharper Valentine
They're as
wafted
gruesome as
into
this
the
game
air,
gets.
the crowd began to disperse, still numb from what they had just observed. Sharper Valentine was gone for good.
Rollo
His
does
end
roll.
would be a new beginning for Beacon Pines, a new chance to let go of the things they had lost.
The
and grab
confetti was
hold of a
definitely
new
more fun than
future.
the ash.
Me and-
But he did get
Well,
Thanos.
I'd be lying if that feels to you like.
Whoopsie, no, no, no. I'm just trying to click through your talking. No. Okay, well, we gotta do it again.
I might have
Come on,
tweaked
come on,
his
come on,
wonder
come on, come on.
potion with a little junk.
Come on, come on, come on. Okay, other options that we have on the table. We could refuse. Do we want to see what happens if we keep Iggy and Kerr alive? Or weep? I want to see what happens if we keep Iggy alive.
Luca had no choice.
I
but
feel
to
kind of guilty because
refuse
Iggy chose
Iggy's
to
request.
live a
He
warrior's
tightened
death
his
here.
grip and reached for the walkie-talkie in his pocket. A wild delight crept onto Mr. Kerr's face. That's a good lad. Now, radio for help. Iggy begged Luca with his eyes one last time, but Luca pressed. We need help. Mr. Kerr is in danger. It wasn't long before they were once again surrounded by clipboards. Mr. Kerr sighed with relieved frustration. There you are. You really are a worthless lot, aren't you? Mirror, now. A clipboard dutifully produced an ornate ivory hand mirror, and Mr. Kerr began preening his tousled hair. Ah, that's better. Mr. Van Horn, I applaud your sharp thinking under duress. I'll put in a good word for you with the founder. Take them away. A swarm of hands overpowered Luca. The last thing he saw before a cloth bag was pulled over his head was the defeated look on Iggy's face. The end.
There you go. Made the right call there, too. I guess let's go ahead and do it. Let's weep.
And in the stillness, he began to weep. It was all just too much. Falling to his knees, Luca whimpered softly. The tears crystallized as they hit the snow. Gran stared at Luca for a moment with warm sympathy, remembering why this was all necessary.
This'll all make sense soon, Luca. Then everything can go back to normal. I promise.
She stiffened up and brandished the torch at Mr. Nuncreed.
You can't hide behind those people any longer, Joseph. Once their precious source is destroyed, we'll see where their loyalties fall. Juniper.
Ignoring his final plea, Gran flung the torch into the deep darkness.
I guess we're all gonna get frozen.
She smiled and exhaled in relief. Mr. Nuncreed moaned in resignation. The torch echoed as it ricocheted down the hole, punctuated with a thunderous thud.
You see, Joseph, I've learned one very important lesson in life. If you want things to change, then you must be willing
Before
to...
Gran could finish, the ground shook her to silence.
There we go. Frozen in ice again.
Gran only had time to spin around and run to Luca. Her attempt to shield him, an honorable but trifling act. Unflinching love, pitted against an unthinking horror. There was no contest. Her warm embrace froze in an instant. That is where they remain, fixed in place, forever. And so, our story ends on this melancholy scene. In a town brought low by its secrets, sits the frozen statues of a misguided band of meddlers. The end. Well, that on the bright side, we finally figured out where all the ice is coming from. Now, we just need to find a way to deal with a mystic, unfathomable force of nature.
There we go. We did it. We solved the mystery. Now we know Beacon Pines. Wow. Roll credits, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and mark the moment. Let's mark it as a moment. So that we remember who was here. So thank you all for being a part of the first roll, or the rolling credits of Beacon Pines. There we go. The moment has been captured. Beacon Pines. Let's see if there were any achievements that I didn't get. 2 more. 2 more secret achievements that I didn't get. I bet it was related to fishing or to the diner, because those are the things I didn't do. But I don't really plan on doing them either. If anybody plans on doing them, let me know. Let me know what they were. But I'm uninstalling. Chats in the clap, dude. Chats in the clap for Beacon Pines. A good game. Very, very good. A lot of fun. I would say, let's see. I would give it, well, let's do it. Let's give it a score. Let's go to backlogged. Got to go add it to our list. Is Spoofy still playing? It's just super quiet. I mean, it deserves a score. Let's go to website. Window capture. Backlogged. Let's see. Beacon Pines. I played another hour and 10 minutes. Finished today. 7 hours, 15 minutes. I feel pretty comfortable giving it like a 3.5 or a 4. I think I'll give it a 4 because I genuinely enjoyed the humor, I enjoyed the jokes, I enjoyed the art style. I thought everything was really nice about it. It wasn't a ground-breaking story, but it definitely had some times that were some really good twists. Overall, it was really fun. Not a perfect game, but not a bad game by any means. And I would say, I would go so far as to say, well, no, we didn't technically master it, so I guess we can't say that. But yeah, I feel good. I feel good about this. Let's save. Let's add it to a list. Add it to our rolled credits in 2022. Add it to our games beaten on Checkpoint Church stream. Let's go over those lists and get some ranking going. So let's see. Where would it fall in all of the games we've played here at Checkpoint? I would say it was better than Last Call, but worse than Unpacking. Unpacking still had a better story in the long run. Yeah, that feels good. I feel good about putting it just beneath Unpacking. And let's go to my own personal rolled credits, see where it falls in my list. Where is Unpacking? Do I not have unpacking on my list? Oh, I guess I beat that last year, didn't I? I guess same spot, in between Neon White and Last Call. Save changes. It hurts to think Beacon Pines was ranked lower than Pokemon Snap, but nostalgia is powerful. And then there's also acknowledging like the time that it was created in, I think. Like Pokemon Snap does have the nostalgia factor, and then it's hard not to acknowledge that like it revolutionized a way of thinking on the rail shooter for me, which doesn't really exist anymore. Nobody really does rail shooters, but whenever they did, it was pretty much the ultimate novelty and combination of character design, storytelling through rail shooting. Yeah, plus the nostalgia, plus the time zone it was in. Nobody else was doing that. Tell that to Typing of the Dead. Yeah. Whereas Beacon Pines is a really good storytelling book, but I play a million storytelling books every year, you know, and they're all good. It was no coffee talk, is what I'll say. No one shot, right? It could compete with Norco, but I can't put it above Neon White. I enjoyed the gameplay of Neon White more. If that game wasn't filled with coarse language, I would suggest it as a game to stream. One of these days, we're going to do a Checkpoint Church After Dark. We've got to make it happen. I'll set on the 18 plus setting, and I won't be 18 plus still, but we'll have a little bit more ability to play some darker games. We've played some games that are definitely questionable. Life is Strange is a pretty dark game, you know. It says plenty of wordy dirds. The worst of the dirds. We've got a little bit of time left on stream, got about 45 minutes, so I'm probably going to play more of Coral Island. Because that was a game we started not too long ago, and I'd like to experience more of it. Plus a cozy game just sounds really nice right now. We'll play another 45 minutes of Coral Island here. Coral Island is a farming sim, for those of you that were here for it whenever we streamed it last. Maybe it'll pop up. There we go. Oh, it's not controller. Whoopsie. I forgot it wasn't controller. I have to run and send off some packages before they rot in my trunk. I'll keep my PC on the stream, though. Appreciate you. Thank you, Zando. Thanks for the lurk. Hopefully this game has music. Otherwise, I'm going to be turning on Spoofy because it's real quiet right now. But it always feels good to beat a game on stream, doesn't it? Always feels good. I would start a new game, but the thing is I just don't think we can do that in 45 minutes. Plus, we have a new game coming next Tuesday, you guys. So, our next couple weeks on Thursdays, I'm sure we will be playing Sonic Frontiers. So be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. I forgot how long this game takes to load. It is slow. There we go. Okay, I don't remember really anything that I was doing or how to play. I know I was meeting people. I have my farm here. I don't think I have anything I want to sell. Oh, there we go, I see. I clicked the wrong thing. Hello, Jack, looking for a way to pass the time? Or maybe you want to earn some extra coins while waiting for your crops to grow? Say no more. Come pay Eleanor and I a visit. Hi, lowercase I a visit. The Beach Shack. We have the perfect welcoming gifts for you. Oh, yeah. There's so much to do. I just want to clean everything up. The fact that I can't clean everything up is bugging me. If I were playing like a legit Harvest Moon, that's probably the first thing I would do, is clear my field. That's what I always do in Friends of Mineral Town and stuff like that. Clear that field. I think the beach was down here. I'm gonna need some music. Have I met you before? There we go. It's like I queued them. Have we spoken, Valentina? Hey, do you know one of the many, many reasons I love rain? Because at school we get to stay inside and play. I guess I've met you. I can plant things over town. That's kind of neat. Do I know you? Judge Ross! I don't think I knew you, but I met you now. Whoopsie. Oh, I need to give somebody a gift. There's the shack. Yeah, so I was super close. I wish there were like a mini map up top. I have so much time though. I have so many minutes. This is trash. No trash on the ocean. Oh my goodness, look at all the trash in the ocean. Are you kidding me? Guys, this is a garbage heap. This is absolutely not okay. What is this? Is this some kind of commentary? We do not tolerate that. Bunch of litter bugs up in here. We do not condone this litter bug behavior. Absolutely not. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. But just know I'll be back. I will be back to clean up this litter bug behavior. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Oh! My legs are freezing. What, Sonny? We can't do that to the new farmer. Poor thing will get overwhelmed if we give both things at once. I mean, I'm freezing. This office is so weird because it is so cold and then so hot. Can never make up its mind. Okay, then we start with fishing. Who doesn't like fishing? Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to... Welcome, a new face at last. Check, isn't it? Jim, Check is here. Nice to meet you. Nice to finally meet you, Check. Come, have a seat. We were just discussing your welcome gifts. It's fine if you prefer to stand. Gotta keep those leg muscles strong. Speaking of leg muscles, I have the perfect workout for you. Catching bugs. Sit, sit, Check. So, how's farm life so far? Nothing I can't handle. That's the spirit. Resilient youngster reminds me a lot of myself. Settle debate for us, Check. What's the better activity, fishing or fun and ever-exciting bug catching? My wife, the competitive ladybug. Did you hear that, love? Check, you're right. Fishing is indeed the better activity. Well, in any case, here's our welcome gift for you. A fishing rod and a bug net. I forgot how big I made my belly in this game. You can sell your catch or donate at the museum. Looks like they're going to need it. Good luck. Good luck. What? I thought Jim was here. Have we met? Sam? I reckon we have. There he is. Hey, Jimbo. I guess we'd already met. Macy, have we met? Guess so. I honestly wish I could play with a controller. I forgot how much I don't enjoy WASD. Oh yeah, they gave me a thing, right? How do I access my menu? Why is it so difficult? What did I just do? You can jump in this game? I don't know what buttons do what. Ooh, what is this? Skill points? There's so many people I haven't met. Oh my goodness. A map, I'm right here, but I need to do things, don't I? This place is huge. There we go. That's what I was looking for, was my nets. And I am just a big old boy. There's buffs too. Mr. Check. I guess I need to give some gifts. We're gonna need some music. This music is like non-existent. We are gonna need spoofy. I'm stuck. Oh no. That's much better. So much better. Okay, well I guess now it's time to clear the fields. Because it's raining, so we don't have anything else to do. And I would much rather have a clear field than just about anything else. Folks, how are your Thursdays treating you? Don't forget, we have an exciting week planned. Tomorrow is the culmination of it all. We're going to be having the checkathon. I'll be putting out all the promotional materials. I feel guilty, but this week has just not been conducive for administrative work. So I don't have any of the promotional materials yet, but I will have them. I will post them today. I have to go spend a bunch of time at a car dealership today. Because they were able to squeeze me in for a recall assessment. So I've got to go and get that done. But I'm telling you, it's just things like that that keep coming up. One thing after another. Sapping me of my time. So I'm going to sit at Starbucks near the dealership and work. All that administrative stuff. I wonder how much energy the tree sap gives. Is it even going to be noticeable? Or is it going to be like a point? It is already looking better. $70? Oof. Okay, well that lasts for a day. Yeah, I'm either gonna need a whole lot more of those. Or we're gonna need to figure out how to get into the hot springs. I mean, if they're made from seeds, then it's got to be trees. Trees have got to be where I get that energy from. This field is huge. Just wood. Okay, so it's got to be a fully grown tree to give me all the fun stuff. Whoopsie. So I currently have the ability to make 3 candies. It literally gave me 1 oak seed. Oh dear. Oh, what is the button? That cannot be the right button to press. Ooh, I have a skill point here. Okay. Foraging. I have a skill point in foraging. Chance for regular trees to drop hardwood. Chance to forage double items. Or increases sprinting speed. I guess... double items. Cool. Oh, what am I thinking? Three tree seeds? Oh no. That's a lot. Oh boy. I'm exhausted already. Gee willikers. Yeah, this is definitely not the most efficient way to do this. But a baby's got to do what a baby's got to do, you know? The wisdom of Thomas Pickles applies. And if believing what Thomas Pickles says is wrong, then I don't want to be right. Now I wonder if being tired affects how I wake up. Or if I need to make sure I maintain energy. Fascinating. Go to bed. Nothing that day, huh? That's not good. I guess let's check the TV. How to be a farmer with Jeff Smith. My name is Jeff Smith, and I know a thing or two about farming. I was raised in a farm, so I got some tips for you, Sprouts. Let me tell you about them. I'm going to tell you the first thing when I planted my first corn in 19 LXI. When you water your crop every day, that's it. Get your chances down. Don't water when it's raining. You hear? What? Is that all you got for me? Sunny and clear. Masked detective. I try to be as normal as possible. Normal clothes, normal job. I already stand enough in my hair and eyes. No need to make it any worse. Mochi, mochi! Unfortunately for me, I have a gift that I can't ignore. I'll always search for the truth. Excuse me, ma'am, have you heard? I heard you're looking for Mochi. Yes, my cute little old doggie. I think someone took her. The last time I saw her, she was napping in here. Interesting. Gotcha. She's here, ma'am. Oh, Mrs. Sato. I was about to call you, but a telemarketer called me and wouldn't let me hang up. Mochi was just wandering in here. I think she smelled the ribs I was cooking. Oh, thank goodness, Mochi. How did you get here? I can answer that. Mochi left through the open back door of your house. Then she snuck through the loose fence and walked all the way here. There's a loose fence. I need to get that fixed immediately. You naughty puppy. Don't ever do that again. Thank you so much, young man. Let me make you a cup of tea as thanks. Oh, no need, ma'am. Seeing Mochi safe is all the reward I need. Well, case closed. Back to normal life for me. Doop, boop, boo. Shoop, boo, boo. Guess they're not ready yet. Either they're not ready yet or I don't know how to harvest. And both are true. What can I want? Okay, that's weird. Did I have anything I could gift to Townie? Not really. Well, let's go wander. Wonder how much animals are. Chickens are usually the cheapest. That went well. It's so weird. Just call me Jack. I run the local ranch. You hear a lot of. There's plenty of space to raise livestock. Why don't you settle? Maybe we can discuss raising animals. Thanks, Jack. Thank you, Mr. Kerouac. Met you before? Yep, met you before. You think he likes flowers? Shiitake mushroom. I don't remember which one this is. That worked. Ooh, a moral. I can sneak. Okay, well that's helpful. Now that I know that I can sneak, I'll be a little better at it. Ooh. Got him! A true nomad carrying its home on its back. Got him, dude. This is my farm. I do really like how there's like no loading screens. That's probably why it takes so long to do the initial load, is because they've made this overworld humongous. They hadn't made it so humongous, it wouldn't be a problem. But they did. All right, all right. Do I really have to clear this path? Come on. Come on. Inventory full. Already. Already full again. Where was the museum? Is it raining? I didn't even look. It's right there. It's right in town. Okay, left and up. I do love a good Zen game, you guys. Love a good Zen game. Oh! Cutscene. Oh no, everyone's mad! You're not welcome here! What is happening? Is it a putt-putt place? Hello all! Passionate residents of Starlet Town, all this commotion is unnecessary. Pufferfish isn't here to do anything destructive. Quite the opposite, actually. We're here to bail this town out. Enough with the lie, Miss Pufferfish. We can all see what you're here for. You can call me Karen. And please do elaborate, Mrs. Betty. The oil spill that reached our town last year was your doing. These old bones have seen enough of your atrocities. We don't want an oil drilling company around here, Miss Pufferfish. Please stop now and take the drilling away from here. I'm afraid this isn't up to you, but yes, we hear you. We're an oil drilling company, but things are not always as one-sided as Miss Betty suggests. We don't need your dirty. If I may, Red Shirt, we can make Coral Island lively again by bringing in tons and tons of workers here. Once we turn the museum into a storage facility for oil, expand drilling sites to the lake and across the beach. See where I'm going here? I can see plazas with vending machines around town, parks. Many of our workers want to relocate to this dying town. Pufferfish can help Coral Island become a magnificent oil town, you see, creating jobs and attracting our internal talents. In no time, you all will see this town alive again. Picture this. Pufferfish workers everywhere, chilling by the pier inside fish and sips, enjoying life. Red Shirt. Look at the big picture here. Let's face it, nobody cares anymore about this charming little island. Let us bail you out, expand our operations here on Coral's Island coast. This will make this island a world-famous oil town. We're putting you on the map. All you need to do is say yes. And by bailout, you mean drilling around the island? Pufferfish's investors will make a hefty profit. Do the math. It'll trickle down to you people. Folks, let's cool our heads. Nothing will be solved if we act out of emotion. Miss Karen, thank you for your time. Our door is always open, Mr. Mayor. Why do they have mini golf, though? What was the mini golf all about? I want to know. I have so many more questions about the mini golf, though. Hey, Karen. Are we going to talk? I love that her name is Karen. Check, right? Oh, I know you. Pleased to make your acquaintance. No need to be confused. You don't know me. I'm Karen. I'm with Pufferfish Corporation. Check, this island is dying. We both know it. These people are just in denial. We should just make the best of it. So I guess that's the Joja. That's the Joja lady. Oh, look. That's where I can donate. Here's Hans and Franz. He's displeased about something. He's sad about something. Nope, they haven't magically returned. Oh, hello there. You're Czech, right? I'm sorry you caught me at a bad time, but just look at this. It's so empty. My life's work. Displaying nothing is high concept. It's great. I appreciate you trying to make me feel better, but let's stop joking around. This is terrible. Not gonna lie, when Millie told me the town was going to sell all of our collection, I was furious. It's not a feeling I'm used to. The one thing I was good at, made me feel useful, is going to be taken away from me? I couldn't stand it. But deep down, I knew the town really needed the extra fund to clean the oil spill. There wasn't much I could do about it. So I went back to my folks to cool down and think about what I'm going to do next. That's when I realized I had two options. Am I going to continue the pity party, or am I going to rebuild the museum's collection now that the town is in an immediate crisis? That's right. I'm going to rebuild the collection. By the way, Check, I've heard things about you. People tell me you're good at finding things. Now, I'm not too bad at it myself, but I can certainly use that skill of yours. We're going into cozy mode, folks. If you find anything interesting, why don't you bring it over? I can bring anything? No, not anything. We have a list of things we want to display. Things like historical artifacts, fossils, critters, sea creatures, so on. Just drop by whenever and we'll see if anything in your bag can be displayed in the museum. So, what do you say, Check? Want to help me fill the museum with the treasures of the island? Of course. That's what I like to hear. I'm starting with a snail. I'm starting with a 1 snail. But not before I hit the ground real hard. Yeah! We the best music. Now I just gotta find somebody to give a thing to. Hey everybody, who wants a thing? Is there anybody here who wants a thing? Lynn! I can't help but think that's Lynn, dude. Every time I see her, it's just Lynn. Weird garage. But okay. Anybody want this mushroom? Who would like a moral mushroom? Anybody? Anybody? Any takers? You look like somebody who would like a mushroom. Too bad I have no idea how to get down to you. Because this map is huge. I thought if I stood still, it wouldn't look at me and notice me, but I was wrong. And I definitely want to clear. Is this all supposed to be oil? Because this is definitely like hellspawn. This is not normal. That's not a normal. It's not a normal oil. If they're just trying to personify an oil spill, then I guess that's one thing. But this is not. This is not what an oil spill looks like. And I appreciate the drama. I appreciate the drive to make us want to do things. But this is not what an oil spill looks like. What a nightmare creature looks like. Can I catch a crab? Nope. Sure can't. Man, you gotta get at it so fast, huh? Okay. Well, you know, we learn. Gotta learn somehow. See what their fishing mechanic is. Am I supposed to see the fish? What do I do? What do I do? I panicked. Maybe I have to hold it. Hold to reel it in. Oh, I see. You gotta do it in spurts. Okay, we're learning. This is all learning. This is how you learn. This is how you learn. Experiment. Discover the truth. They keep going back and forth between left click and right click. I can't keep up. That was easy. Oh, it was easy because it was trash. Cool. Good first fish. Makes me feel really good about myself. Thank you for that video game. Now this looks like a fishing spot. Oh my goodness, it's nighttime. What's up? For real? I've wasted an entire day? I still have so much energy left. Whoa! Whoa! Homeboy was so mad! Whatever. I'll try to get some energy out. You think I can get coconuts from these trees? Makes sense to my head. Oh, I shake it. I gotta shake, shake, shake my sillies out. Shake, shake, shake my sillies out. Shake, shake, shake my sillies out. And wag all my worries away. Nope. Yep, jump. Jump, jump my jiggles out. Chuck knows. Chuck knows what I'm talking about. Ooh, that was rare. I too have a little kid. Yeah. They do have the most absurd songs. And you will be listening to them regularly. If you have a child and you haven't heard a song a million times, I don't believe you. Have we met? Emma. We've not. You run a taco stand? Emma is the love of my life. I'm very easy to please. Just bring tacos. You bring tacos, I'm here, dude. You bring me tacos, you're the best friend I've ever had. Bye. So many bugs. They haven't really given me an incentive to sell things yet. I don't really know what I'm supposed to be working towards. I would assume a chicken coop and stuff like that, but they haven't really, like, advertised that, you know? I'm gonna sell that for sure. Because this got a star. And that means it's special. Okay, well, I still have a couple more hours. I wonder if do I get tired? Like at a certain hour of the day, or can I just work through the night? Ooh, interesting. I didn't get any seeds that time. They get plenty of sap. Well, that's a start. So many fibers. Starting to feel a little tired. Folks, I hope everyone has had a wonderful week so far. I hope your Thursdays are treating you well. Hope you're looking forward to a good weekend and all the good things that come along with the weekend. I came back again. What's up, Zando? Welcome back. We've been through like 2 days of the game. Not too much. Spoils of the land. You can find mushrooms. Chance of finding them is higher on a rainy day. Game of Cones is very funny. Hey, Mark. Oh, hi, Mark.
Yes, good morning. I'm Mark. You're the new farmer, I know. I'm here to give you some info. Stay off my land. The mine northwest of here is now open right through the forest. When you see Jack's ranch, you can go left and follow the path.
It was closed?
Yes, it was closed. Now it's open. Don't ask. I just cut myself with a razor. It's not anything big. It's not like I was attacked by a bear. Find a ranch, go left. That'll be a sign to lead you back to the cavern from there. Catch any of that?
Yeah.
The band of smiles cleared up the top levels of the mine. It's safe to roam. No monsters anymore.
I'm sorry. Did you just say monsters? Because this world's been pretty real up until this point.
You can visit if you're curious. Just don't go too deep. Your garden rake won't help you there. That's all. If you want to know more, talk to Kira. I'm done here. I'm mad about it. Wasted time.
We're going to have to talk about the whole monsters thing that you just said. If I move to an island and somebody's like, hey, if you want to get some extra things, you can work in the mines. Just be careful of the monsters. I have questions immediately. I have questions immediately. Okay? Can't make fertilizer, huh? Hoping for some fertilizer. All right, sell our expensive turnip. Plant these seeds. I don't know if we'll make it to the end of this day, but I don't know if we have to either. Oh, you know what? The game might just save at the end of days. I don't have time. Well, this might be where we wrap up then. This game is fun. I really want to be able to play this so desperately on my on my phone or like anywhere other than PC. I'm not happy about the fact that it's PC only. I really need it to be more than just PC, which is still, it's super early for the game. It's literally in alpha phase still. So it's like, I'm not giving it too much of a hard time because it is what it is. But hoo boy, do I wish it were not in alpha so that I could actually play the game on the go. Because I think it'd be a game that I would enjoy way more if I'm able to devote the time to it. But it's definitely fun. I'm down. Stop. Oh no! No, I didn't. You guys, so I packed my wife's lunch this morning. I packed... Okay, so we made a honey baked ham, one of the small ones, one of the 2-pounders. It's just a little honey baked ham. And I packed my wife's lunch this morning. and I grabbed the wrong container. So we had one that was prepped with green beans and ham, and then she would have like the bread to go with it. But I gave her the remainder of the ham. So she just opened up her lunch, and there's just like half a ham in there. There's just like a 3/4 pound ham. Oh, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Oh, I feel so bad. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't be upset with that meal. Oh man, that's funny. I'm telling her that I'm losing it on stream right now. I cannot believe I did that. What a fool. What a fool I am. What a fool I am. Folks, we got to find somebody to raid because I got to get to the car dealership. Folks, we are Checkpoint Church. We're really a church for nerds, geeks, and gamers. I'm really a pastor here of this church doing this church plant thing. We've got an exciting day tomorrow. The Checkathon is tomorrow. We'll be raising funds for the Movember Foundation. We're going to set a goal at $500. We're going to see if we can raise $500 over the course of 8 hours. Tomorrow starting at 4 p.m. I'll set up that Tiltify. I'll probably have it posted at some point today. So if you can't be there tomorrow and you want to go ahead and start donating, you certainly can. That would be a great thing to do. Homeschool Mom and Asia the Girl are on. Yep, looks like it. We'll go. Look, Asia's already got 32 peeps, man. We'll keep on going with the Asia love. Although I don't know if I've ever rated Homeschool Mom. I've definitely seen them. They got 53. I always go with the one that has the less viewers. I like to rate somebody that has less, which Asia's got plenty, but less. So we'll go with Asia. But yes, let's see. My mom used to pack my lunch, my dad's lunch when I was in elementary school. It was pretty awkward opening a bag to find a fried bologna sandwich, a Twinkie, and a pack of cigarettes. What? That is hilarious. Oh my goodness. What would you do? What would you even do? What would you do at that point? That's the funniest thing I've ever heard twice. Now I've had 2 very good funnies just from lunches. We need more school lunch stories, clearly. Folks, we're going to go raid Asia the Girl. Join us tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern. We're going to do an 8-hour stream. It's going to be a bunch of fun stuff going on one after another. We're going to be recording a live episode of Level 2 Podcast. We're going to have Minecraft Mario Party. We're going to have Overwatch 2, I'm sure. We might have some real Mario Party on Nintendo Switch Online because I think that just got posted. We're going to have all sorts of fun games, all sorts of fun things to do. Be there or be square. Going to be a great time. And I look forward to seeing you hopefully tomorrow at 4. We raise $500 for the Movember Foundation that supports men's health, men's mental health, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, all those things as a part of our quarterly charity streams that we do here just to promote extravagant generosity here at Checkpoint Church. But with that, we're going to go raid Asia the Girl. As we do that, I'm going to remind you 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there. Number 1, we believe that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here on this channel and over on our Discord and over on our YouTube channel. And number 3, we believe that you, yes, you, no matter who you are, where you've been, what you believe in, don't believe in, none of that stuff changes this, that you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it, folks. With that, until the next time that I see you, go share some love with Asia the Girl. Let her know that she matters and her community matters. And until the next time that I see you, which will hopefully be on the Discord right now, or 4 o'clock tomorrow for our Checkathon. Until then, bye-bye!